Welcome back to episode 199 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. My name is Josh. I'm here with Troy. What's going on, good buddy?
Not a whole lot. Just got done with 2 baseball games. We had to play a doubleheader. Too much rain.
Too much rain.
Yeah, it was dumb. Anyways.
Yeah, it's late. We're starting late tonight. It's going to be a late night for us. I got to be up at 5 a.m. too. I wonder how this is going to work. Don't talk to me tomorrow, Troy. I'm going to be crabby. Well, the off season, Troy. It begins. We have another season in the books.
Yeah.
Guess what? Our Minnesota Wild are in first place. Well, we're tied.
And they're getting the banner ready that says we went 2-0 versus Florida in 2023-24. So we're getting ready to lift our banner up because we need something to put up in the rafters besides our dumb number 1 retired number to the Wild fans. And then Koivu's cool. We'll give Koivu.
Yeah.
His 9's good. But besides that, we don't have much hanging from the rafters.
Well, it feels good to root for our first place Wild for the next few months. And in the meantime, until right around mid-October, something like probably October 11th, October 12th, when the 2024-25 season begins, we're going to have tons and tons of off-season content. We've got a lot planned to give you your hockey and hobby fixes as you ramp up again to 2024-25. In my experience with our show, well, this will be our third off-season already, is that it goes by really fast. Like before we know it, it'll be hockey again. And there's never a dull moment, as you'll find out today, where it's like it's kind of funny, right? We'll finish a show and we'll start planning the next one, Troy. And I'll be like, oh, there's nothing really going on. And then all of a sudden, 12 hours later, it's like I'm overwhelmed with stuff to add and subtract and try to figure out how to cram everything in.
Yeah, well, next week should be nuts once free agency opens. We'll see.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about that. Okay, well, we're going to get rolling. Like I said, we have a ton to get to. Before we do, though, just a reminder that our show, the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast, is a Patreon podcast. That means that we rely on support from listeners like yourself to help us cover show expenses, produce more and what we hope will be better hockey card content, and fun initiatives, even in a small way to grow the hobby. You can support us by joining our out of $199 support level tier on Patreon. You get access to our Discord server as well and kind of chat with everyone there, and that community continues to grow and kind of cool to see the progress happening there. It's very easy to do. You can go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, and click on the Become a Patron link at the top of the page. Go to Patreon directly, patreon.com, and search for Hockey Cards Gong Show. There's a link in the description if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple or another podcast app, or in YouTube as well. And there's a link in our TikTok and Instagram profiles too.
Welcome to the Gong Show. 2 guys that can't speak French, but love hockey cards.
Nice.
All right, Troy. There you go. With that, you ready with the game plan?
I am. On today's show, we begin with the almost greatest NHL player to wear number 99. Yes, there's actually a player that is the almost greatest to wear number 99. More on that in a minute. We then do another installment of Hobby Deep Dive Sets Edition. Then it's off to Hobby News. Next is a segment where we look at the Stanley Cup Finals Hobby Aftermath. We end the show with the trifecta of new product releases, a look at some of our favorite hockey cards in the current PWCC Weekly auction, and any personal pickups. Okay, Josh, previously we looked at the greatest NHL player that wore the number that matched our episode number. We ran through all the numbers, so now we are looking at the almost greatest NHL player to wear each number from the runners-up in the Hockey Writers' Greatest NHL Player to Wear Each Number article. So, Josh, I actually have to take a slight pivot on the almost greatest to wear number 99. So the Hockey Writers, their article, where they talk about the greatest player to wear each number, lists only Wayne Gretzky at number 99 with no runners-up. The Hockey Writers article states for number 99, there is no runner-up. There is no argument. There is no debate. There is no relationship between a player and a number more iconic than Wayne Gretzky and his number 99. His resume speaks for itself, and the number 99 has been retired league-wide, meaning no one will ever challenge Gretzky for the spot of the best to wear the number.
So do you agree that 99 more so than, what would the other candidates be? Probably 23 and 42, right?
For what? In like all sports, like Jordan
in any
and
sport,
Jackie Robinson? Yeah.
Jackie Robinson or Michael Jordan.
Yeah, agree. And also, I agree 100% with the Hockey Writers article. However, I did some research. I never even knew this. There were 2 other players that have worn number 99 in the NHL. So per me, the almost greatest player to wear number 99 is this guy, Josh. Wilf Paymont. Good old Wilf.
Now, before we get started, are you sure
Yes.
this is legal? Like, did we contact our attorneys? Or is
I
lightning
think
going to
so.
strike? Are we going to get thrown in hockey jail? I feel like this is sacrilegious to be doing this, Troy.
Yeah, it is, but it's fun because I
Okay.
knew nothing about Wilf Paymont, and I keep wanting to say his name is like Payment. It's like Paiement, but I watched enough videos and they always said Paymont. So
You
I'm
should
gonna
never
go
have
with Wilf.
3 vowels in a row. That's not
Yeah,
fair.
you get too many vowels, it's crazy. The only other player besides Gretzky and Wilf Paymont to wear number 99 was Rick Dudley. However,
Mm.
Wilf Paymont is my selection for the overall greatest player to wear number 99, or almost greatest player to wear number 99. And so let's look at our boy Wilf. Josh,
Yep.
why am I Wilf? Is that the owner of the Vikings? Ziggy Wilf? Is his
Ziggy
last name?
Wolf.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Well, and we should
All
say too then that if you're choosing, and you can't blame the hockey writers, that all the
All hate man.
legions of Rick Dudley fans, that they
Yes.
should email the show to your attention, right?
Yeah, I think if I remember right, Dudley wore number 99 for 1 year.
Okay.
I think I say how many years Wilf
Are
wore.
these all pre-Gretzky too, I would assume?
They're right at Gretzky. It's pretty nuts.
Oh.
All right, so Wilf Paymont, right winger from Earlton, Ontario, Canada. Paymont was selected second overall in the 1974 NHL entry draft by the Kansas City Scouts.
Favorite
Okay,
team?
I never knew that Kansas City had an NHL team. I feel my hobby cred slipping away. The Kansas City Scouts were a professional ice hockey team in the NHL from 1974 to 76. In 1976, the franchise relocated to Denver and became the Colorado Rockies. In 1982, the Rockies relocated to New Jersey, where they have since been known as the New Jersey Devils. The more you know. If I
So
was
is
smart,
that similar to the Seals? Because weren't they?
California Golden Seals. I don't know.
Yeah, they were like a team for like a hot minute too, right?
I don't know. I don't know where they came from or where they went or any of that stuff. But yeah, I thought at one point didn't Atlanta have like the Atlanta Flames or something? But maybe they
I
went
don't
to
know.
Calgary or something. I don't know. Don't ask me. I have to do research on that stuff. All right. Paymont played in 946 regular season NHL games over a 14-season NHL career. Paymont began his career with 2 seasons with Kansas City. After Kansas City moved to Colorado, he then played 3.5 seasons with the Colorado Rockies. He then spent time with the Toronto Maple Leafs before moving on to a stint with the Quebec Nordiques. He would then finish his career with stops with the New York Rangers, Buffalo Sabres, and Pittsburgh Penguins. For his awards and accomplishments, he was a 3-time NHL All-Star Game.
Huh.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. But here, you ready? Regular season stats. 356 goals, 458 assists for 814 points. And
I'm shocked. I'm going to be honest that I would have thought he would have had like 4 goals, 6 penalty minutes, and 192 healthy scratches or something like that.
He got lots of penalty minutes. I didn't put it in here, but we're going to get to him in penalties. I think Rick Dudley was way like the other guy that wore 99 was, I don't know, maybe 80 or 200 points total. But okay. Paymont made the playoffs in 8 of his 14 NHL seasons, compiling 18 goals, 17 assists for 35 points in 69 NHL playoff games played. The best regular season of Paymont's career from a point standpoint was his 1980-81 season, where Paymont had 40 goals, 57 assists for 97 points in 77 games played with the Toronto Maple Leafs. If I remember, his time with Toronto was by far, I think, his most productive in the league. And I just love that these pictures have him in 99. And I feel like what's the Mandela effect? I feel like this stuff's all gonna get scrubbed at some point. And we're gonna be like, I knew he wore number 99. Like, no, only Gretzky, boy. All right. Paymont was known as a fast skating, goal scoring, hard-nosed player. He was also noted for being a very good two-way player. However, he might be best remembered for being an absolute dirty player. So, Josh, check this out. Paymont was a member of the Canadian team that returned to the World Championships in Austria in 1977 after a 7-year absence. Now, that's 7 years. I thought they were booted in like 72 maybe, or after a big fight with some team. I can't remember exactly what it was. Maybe Russia. But during the tournament, so the 77 tournament, after they came back, frustrated by the lack of success, many members of Team Canada, including Paymont, resorted to violence.
Nice.
Paymont attacked Swedish player Lars-Erik Eriksson, who received a stick in the eye, as well as Russian players Shadrin, Yakushev, and Babanov, who were all knocked unconscious. Will Paymont was the worst coward I ever saw on the ice, said Swedish player Lars-Gunnar Lundberg. I love that name, Lars-Gunnar Lundberg, who played in the Swedish national team of 1977. And he said that in an interview in 2016. So that's our first story with our boy going.
You just referenced, though, Troy, 2 Swedish players. Player 1, the guy's name is Lars-Erik Eriksson.
Yeah.
And then Lars-Gunnar Lundberg.
Yeah.
I like the Lars, like Lars Troy Iverson. We call you that because you played in Sweden.
I did play in Sweden. I'm sure I got some Swedish in me too somewhere. I think I'm Norwegian, Swedish, Welsh. There's probably some other stuff in there. All right. On October 25th, 1978, Paymont attacked Detroit Red Wings center Dennis Polonich. Sorry, I don't know if I'm saying that right. With his stick. The diminutive 5'6" Polonich was trash talking with Paymont. When Paymont struck Polonich across the face with a 2-handed slash, which resulted in severe facial lacerations, a smashed nose that required extensive reconstructive surgery, and a severe concussion. Along with a match penalty, Paymont was given the second longest at the time suspension in NHL history, which was 15 games. And then Polonich sued and was rewarded with a settlement of $850,000 in 1982. He has suffered with breathing problems from then on.
That was some big cash because there's no way Paymont made that much money in 82, right?
Well, here, we're going to get to what he kind of made. All right. So that's known as a dirty player. He was a good player, scored 800 some points in the NHL. I, for the life of me, could not find any info, but I did find this picture, which is kind of fun. I could not find any info on what Paymont did after his NHL career.
Oh, God.
If anyone knows, I would love to hear any information anyone has. I did see a YouTube comment that said Paymont raised money for First Nation causes and did some work with the NHL Alumni Association. But again, it was a YouTube comment. And I saw an Instagram post where it's like, looked like some guy had a podcast, but I couldn't figure out what the name of it was that Paymont was on with him as a guest. But yeah, that's all I got. So
he looks a little bit like what's Benicio del Toro's character in that?
Oh, No Country for Old Men.
Yes.
Oh, I can't remember the name of his character, but that
this
movie.
That's bad hockey face there.
Yeah, it's like half caught between a smile and a grin or something. All right, fun, interesting facts, Josh. While Paymont was playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs, he wore the number 99 for the 187 games he spent in Toronto and was the last player other than Wayne Gretzky to wear that number. Last wearing it on March 6, 1982 against the Montreal Canadiens. Referencing his time wearing the number 99, Paymont appeared in a commercial for the Canadian furniture store Leon's in 2008 in honor of their 99th anniversary. The commercial teased the appearance of Gretzky before revealing Paymont, who then said, "What are you expecting? Or were you expecting someone else?" Like, I think they probably teased number 99. Yeah. He's going to be there. And then it was this guy. That's kind of funny to me.
How soon do you think after Gretzky started where generally around the league, people were like, nah, I think we're not going to wear 99?
Probably, I don't know, 6-7 seasons maybe. Or even, well, think about it. Lawton,
I would say sooner.
Yeah, Lawton, who we did last, was 98, and he was an 80. Was he 86 draftee? Is that what it was? Or 85, I can't remember exactly, but they were making fun of him, right? They called him Notch because he was just a notch below Wayne Gretzky. All right. Paymont was selected second overall in the infamous 1974 NHL Draft. This was the draft that was held in secret via conference call as the NHL was worried about the WHA poaching players. It was also the draft that saw the selection of our boy, Taro Tushimoto, a fictitious Japanese ice hockey player who was selected at the 183rd overall pick by the Buffalo Sabres. The decision to draft a non-existent player was made by Sabres general manager Punch Imlach, who was frustrated by the absurd length of the draft. We actually went into that story. I don't know.
Yeah, it was awesome.
20
you
episodes.
Said Tushimoto, very fluid. I was super impressed by you there. And is Punch Imlach, is that a real name?
It's got to be like a nickname, right? Punch. I feel like my Duolingo is paying off. Spanish or Vanish, right? The thing's tracking me. After being drafted second overall, the WHA also tried to sign Paymont. What followed was Paymont signing with Kansas City of the NHL for what was at the time the richest contract for an NHL rookie ever at 3 years, $600,000. So he made good money with his rookie deal.
But that $850,000 settlement hurt. There's like
who knows if that was ever paid or what happened, if the team paid it or who knows. Insurance, all that fun stuff. Wilf Paymont was the first player drafted by the Kansas City Scouts / Colorado Rockies / New Jersey Devils organization. And our last fun fact, at the end of Wilf's career, he would be the last active player to have played for the Kansas City Scouts. So fun stuff with our boy Will. All right, Josh, where does this fall on the rookie card Hall of Fame? So Wilf's rookie card, 1974, OPG number 292, Wilf Paymont, rookie card, uncorrected error. As you can see, his last name is spelled wrong. So it's actually spelled how you say it, right? Paymont, but it should be spelled P-M-E-N-T. So there you go. PSA 10 pop of this card is a big fat 0. So that gives us a 0% gem rate. Total graded copies of this card at PSA is 39, with the highest grade being a PSA 9, but only 2 copies have received that grade. I will say, you go look at raw pictures of this card. Holy cow, is it terrible. Like, it's cut. Usually one of these borders is missing. It's just really bad cuts. And the picture on TCDB was so bad, I had to go find a different picture.
That's an interesting picture. I don't know if I've ever seen a card. It's like he's on the bench and the coach is saying, get in there. And he's like, who, me?
Yeah. I think it's almost like he's in a photo shoot and he's just doing it. They're like, hey, put your stick back for a shot.
Oh,
but
he's doing like a, oh, hey there.
Yeah.
Oh, hey there, ladies.
Last sale of any graded copy of this card I could find was on March 6, 2024, when a PSA 5 copy sold via eBay verified in Terapeak for $25, 79 cents US. A PSA 8 copy of this card did sell on September 3rd, 2023 via eBay verified in Terapeak for $141.50 US. Raw copies you can find for super cheap, depending on condition. It'll be like $2 to $15.
Sure.
There you go.
I was curious what you were going to do because I saw like episode 199. It's like, we already did a whole big Gretzky episode. So
wasn't going to do that. And we've done like a Gretzky episode. I think we've done another episode where you found a bunch of more, just those crazy Gretzky facts. You know, kind of like he never scored any goals. Facts. He'd still lead the NHL career in points, or just with the assists and stuff like that.
We've already gone to the Jeremy Lee well.
Yeah.
Do some Gretzky talk. So running out of ideas there. Okay, well, good job, Wilf. Not a great name. But Wilf Paymont, actually pretty good player. Wore the number 99. Okay, Troy, we got to move on. You know what's next?
I do.
It's time for another hobby deep dive.
This is not a hand.
You like my radio voice? I've been practicing. What?
Did you pay someone or did you AI? How'd you do these?
You gonna be mad if I paid somebody? Because I'm just trying to live out my radio fantasy, and we're such dorks.
Let's do it.
Things are very cheap on Fiverr, Troy. Things are very, very cheap on Fiverr. That was fun. I got to do it again.
It's time for another hobby deep dive.
As I can just hear the listeners turning their phones, shutting off the podcast right now. Oh, I like it.
Yeah, it was only $11,000. No, was not $11,000. Okay, enough fun. I'm also having a lot of fun doing these set deep dives, Troy. I don't
even know what this one is.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
well, this
boy.
I do. It's crazy set. I can't even understand this set. So hopefully,
neither could I. So we had to get help. I think this will be set deep dive 4 or 5.
Ooh.
What we do for anyone new here, welcome to the show, if you are, is we pick what we feel are 4 interesting sets, slap up a poll on Instagram, let y'all vote on which one we should deep dive this week. So it's pretty simple. Next week, for sure, Troy, we're going to go back to some extended series rookies and hit some rookie deep dives. But before we do, let's get into this week's poll. Or before we get into this week's poll, here's a quick recap of the 4 previous set deep dives that we've done so far.
Yep.
We did Allure's 16-bit from the first time, 2021. Then we did 1998 Atomic Refractors, 0809 Jambalaya, and then last week, 1996 Upper Deck Game Jersey Cards. Well, we came up with 4 more options this week, Troy. Those were 2009 The Cup Sidney Crosby Tribute.
Sorry.
2016-17 2016-17 Glow Peachy. You down with Glow Peachy, Troy?
You know me.
There we go. 1998 OPG Chrome Blast from the Past and 1997-98 Pinnacle Totally Certified Platinum Mirror Gold. Holy cow, that's a mouthful. And with 31% of the vote, Troy, now you can put it up.
There it is. Sorry.
The 2009 The Cup Sidney Crosby Tribute runs away, kind of, by 2% with the poll. And so it makes it this week's set deep dive. And once it won, I kind of panicked and I said, why the heck did you do this? Because this is very confusing. I don't understand. I started to look into it, but the set is very popular and it's considered a very highfalutin in the hobby. But yeah, it was super confusing, Troy. And I remember like the first time I was introduced, probably on like a PWCC show or by Jeremy or Mitch or something like that. And I was like, huh, what? What is this?
I remember you and I talking about this, going, what? We're like, what is this? I don't understand this. What do you mean it's Sidney Crosby Tribute?
Yeah. He was like 12. It's like, how do you tribute a 12-year-old? So that was like, because he was a rookie in 2005, and here it is 2009, and he's already getting a tribute set only after, 4 years? And because they're supposed to, a tribute, right, pays homage to some like great legacy of some sort. And yeah, it seemed a little premature. And by the way, I haven't seen a Bedard tribute set yet. Have you?
Yeah, no kidding.
Isn't that
Where's
weird?
that at?
When's that coming?
Fail.
So I needed to understand all this, Troy, and I only had one option. I called up resident cupologist Mitch Grotman,
Nice.
who was riding very high.
Was Mitch even coherent, or is he still partying?
Possibly incoherent. The Panthers winning the Stanley Cup. So I was a little nervous. I'm like, oh, this is very poor timing because it's the day after the Cup victory. But he was very gracious and gave me a lot of info and obliged our little segment here. So I'm very appreciative to that. And so if everyone would go give him a follow at Gropman, GROPMAN _cards on Instagram, that'd be great.
And then check out his bio because it probably has a link to his fake hockey cards.
Yes.
He runs an Instagram on fake patches and stuff. And I think he might do a Hall of Fame hockey cards, something like that. Look in his bio. There's another one where he does like really awesome like cards.
He gave me the total backstory on this. So everything that I'm going to relay comes from him.
Okay.
And had he not, this would have been a total, it would have been more of a disaster than it already. I would have just played our radio sound effects the whole time. I wouldn't have known what else to do. Okay, here we go. So thank you again, Mitch. Congratulations on winning the Stanley Cup. And I wish Troy and I would ever understand how you feel.
That
but we will.
feels like.
Okay, so Troy, to understand the story, the 2009-10 Crosby tribute set from the Cup, you actually have to go back to the 2008-09 OPG set, where cards like this, Mark Messier, were produced. So Upper Deck did a tribute set in 2008-09 for OPG, where they used the 1979 Topps OPG design. And they did it because they're like, well, we own OPG, so we can do tribute. But not so fast. Topps got a little angry at this. I don't know if they were hangry. They might have been hungry, or they're angry. And they said, yo, Upper Deck, actually Topps designed that, and you don't own Topps. And even though OPG used the Topps design, those designs from back in the day are actually our intellectual property. You cannot use them. Pops ends up suing Upper Deck and wins.
Wow.
So the result is that Upper Deck cannot use any of the tributes from vintage cards, which is kind of a bummer because that's sort of
Yeah.
what makes the most sense, right? Is that if you're going to do tribute card, you want to reference some sort of card from the past that is an iconic design and bring it to a modern player.
Well, I've wondered why we haven't seen any more of these tributes with these OPG design. Like, right, this is the Gretzky rookie year, very famous.
Mhm.
And we know there was the one set produced, but I thought, I was like, I've never seen these recently with different like recent players. Now I know why they can't.
Big no. That's only half of the backstory, though.
Yes.
Because around the same time, Upper Deck, I don't know the exact circumstances, but they found out that they were losing the licenses for the other major sports. That would be basketball, baseball, and football. And so it kind of put them in this.
Sounds like Panini losing all their licenses.
Oh yeah, it's like sort of like what Panini's doing with Victor Wembanyama. They're kind of in this time crunch where they're like, oh my gosh, we have no time left. Let's do anything and everything we can to use the licensed rights to all these other sports. And they came up with the idea of doing tribute sets. But then again, remember, they can't use legacy designs. So they end up doing tribute sets based on more modern designs. Hence why, in the case of the set we're talking about today, it's a 2009 tribute of a card that was made 4 years prior.
Yes.
Because they couldn't go back and do 1979 OPG or 1971 OPG, etc. So what Upper Deck did is they actually did 3 tribute sets that year. They did one in Exquisite Basketball where they used the name Flashback instead of Tribute. And what you will find, and this will be the case too in the Crosby Tribute set, is it's not a tribute hockey set. They have players, all these tributes from every sport. Right? So the Tribute Basketball set called Flashback and Exquisite actually has hockey players too. The tribute sets in the Cup for Crosby, and then we'll find out there's one for Ovechkin, had hockey players and then players from other sports as well. So it's a whole kind of confusing thing that it seems like Upper Deck was scrambling just to benefit every way possibly they could for keeping these licenses or while these licenses were running out. So here's an example of the Exquisite Basketball tribute set called Flashback that featured hockey players like this Mario Lemieux. We've seen these cards. They are very, very pricey.
Yes.
I never knew these are from a basketball.
I had no idea.
Because it's so random, isn't it? But they had football players and hockey players and basketball players and all other kinds of athletes as well. So for hockey and the Cup, Upper Deck created 2 tribute sets, Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin. Right. So the basic difference between the two is the Sidney Crosby tribute set uses the 2005 design.
Okay.
Features athletes born in North America where all the cards are numbered to 10.
Okay.
The Alexander Ovechkin tribute set uses the same 2005 Cup design, but features athletes from Europe and are numbered to 5.
Fair enough. Now I know. And no clue that's what the difference was.
So that leads us finally to now we can focus and dig into the 2009-10 The Cup Sidney Crosby tribute set. Okay. Did I do okay with the backstory? Was that I tried to make it not confusing, but it is.
I think I know it. I think I know what happened. I think I agree. All right. I feel I have a good understanding, even though it's still crazy. But
like I said, the Sidney Crosby tribute set utilizes 2005 Cup designs, which of course was from his rookie year. And there's 43 cards on the checklist. Now remember, these are not only hockey players and hockey cards. There's North American athletes from various sports, and they're all out of 10. So some of the names include like Bodie Miller, who is a skier.
Yep.
Then there's Michael Jordan, which is the next. So this is a card from the Sidney Crosby tribute set. Barry Sanders, Chris Paul, LeBron, another big one. So
they had
this
to
is
use
again.
Why did Did they not? They didn't have NBA or license or something, or why'd they
I
use
don't
this high
know.
school?
Yeah, and they use some college. It's a little random,
Yeah,
I guess, how they did. And this is like where it totally gets confusing because, so remember, they did an exquisite flashback set in '09 as well. I think it was '09 or '08. It was '08 or '09, one of the two, that used the LeBron rookie design, but had hockey players. And then in the Crosby tribute set, they used the Crosby rookie design, but has LeBron too.
yeah. My brain kind of broke when I saw the Cup logo. I don't know why. Like,
Yeah,
it like can't marry that there's LeBron James on on a Cup card.
it's so weird. And then there's like Dan Marino, Derrick Rose, Magic Johnson, Tiger Woods, which is the next
Would y'all?
example we have.
His auto's
So-
so nice. Like he's got a really nice auto.
Yeah. Nolan Ryan. So like baseball players too,
Yeah.
just kind of crazy. Then of course there's the number of hockey players as well, like Mario Lemieux, Gordie Howe. This is just a recent record sale. So I think
Yeah, I was gonna
just
say
that-
this must be huge. Like this must be a huge card.
Wayne Gretzky, Patrick Waugh, Bobby Orr. Most of the cards have memorabilia, but some don't. So like here's the example of
Mm-hmm.
Gordie Howe. And I asked Mitch, well, why did they decide to put some with Mem, some with others? And I don't know if he had that level of information, but his best guess was that they probably had run out of Gordie
Yeah.
Howe game used material at that time. So yeah. And if there is Mem, it is game used or equivalent. So like an example is like the Tiger Woods, right? If you look at the back, it says that the memorabilia is tournament worn. That's sort of the golf equivalent.
Yeah.
And the Nike logo, that you think that would be like the equivalent of like a shield or something like that for
Yeah,
Tiger Woods.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, being out of 10, again, all these are out of 10. They're obviously pretty rare. They don't sell very often. So when I looked at Card Ladder sales history, I could only find 74 total sales of all 43
Wow.
of the cards since the product was released in 09-10, the Cup.
Did you happen to tell if there? I wonder if there. You probably didn't look at this, but has there been a sale of every one of those cards? Because I'm assuming some of those are.
I don't think so.
sales.
No.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The big ones have the most sales. So the biggest ones would be like Jordan, Tiger.
And just think,
Gretzky,
they're only
Lemieux.
10 out of 10 for the North American, out of 5 for the
Out of 5 for the Ovechkin tribute.
the
yeah.
the Europeans.
And I didn't even look at that checklist. I kind of wanted to, but honestly, this was so hard to unpack and try to make sense of it for myself that I kind of just focused on this one. Okay, and then here's a look at the top 5 selling cards from the 43 card set of the Sidney Crosby tribute, with each of the 5 or the top 5's highest respective sale. And any sale made by eBay, of course, are verified as paid for in Terapeak.
Yeah.
So at number 5, Troy, is this card, the Gordie Howe PSA 10, sold for $2,221 US this past May. A lot of these are fairly recent.
Does that seem low? Does that seem low to you? Seems low to me.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of these sales where now typically I don't think you and I consider ourselves like that we play with the big boys.
No.
when it comes to hockey cards.
I
But,
play with the small, I guess the lower lower boys.
but if somebody came to you and like they messaged the show and they said,
Yeah.
"Hey Troy, I have this Gordie Howe out of 10
Yep.
from I'd give it to you for $2,000." I
Yep.
could see you scratching up the
I would.
the
I would
change
find
to pull to make that purchase.
Bag my daughter, man. She's got more money than all of us because she just works and
Robert.
doesn't pay for anything.
It's funny how that works. My son started a job today, landscaping,
Nice.
and he needed steel toe boots. And he comes to me this morning with like his hand out. It's like, oh, I got to buy your stuff for your job. That's
No kidding.
fantastic. It was $165, by the way.
Yeah, those ain't cheap.
It was great. Number 4, LeBron James, BGS 99. I'm not sure why that's a 9 auto. I hate auto grades. Sold for $4,800 US by Golden in May 2021.
Okay.
St. Vincent, St. Mary's, right? LeBron.
Yep.
Number 3, Michael Jordan, BGS 910. Sold for $10,000 US this past May.
I don't see a lot of. Well, listen, I don't look at a lot of basketball cards, but is North Carolina stuff fairly rare? It seems like it'd be rare to me. I don't know.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure.
Whatever. Basketball cards stink. No, I'm just kidding. Go hockey.
And then number 2, Tiger Woods, PSA 9, sold for $25,001. Don't forget the $1, Troy.
Yep.
this past May, so again last month, via eBay.
That's a good amount. I could see that. Tiger's got a bigger market than I realized.
Huge market.
Yeah.
So not a lot. We've had 4 cards and 1 hockey player so far, but thank goodness, number 1.
Yeah.
The real number 99, Wolf Paymont.
Wolf Paymont.
Just kidding. Wayne Gretzky, BGS 8.510, sold for $25,200 US dollars.
Barely beat the Tiger.
PWCC Weekly last January, so 2023. Well, that's it, Troy. What are your thoughts on the 2009 The Cup Sidney Crosby Tribute set? It feels like Upper Deck was a little bit off the rails in doing all these.
It does. Cool. It is cool. Well, I remember this. I remember when Mitch was on and we were doing Masterclass, and I remember these coming up. And I think I was of the opinion on that show when we talked about it that I'm like, well, that's kind of ridiculous. Why would I buy Cup products and then get this card of something like Bodie Miller? I'd be kind of upset. I think Mitch had a different take on it. It's like, well, could you imagine, you buy this and you get a LeBron or a Jordan?
Yeah.
How often can you get that in a, card? And I was like, oh, that's a good point.
I think he mentioned people were mad about it at the time, right?
Yeah, he did say that. People were mad. I think it's kind of growing on me, but still, I really do need to look at the checklist. Maybe there's some obscure athlete I want to piece or try to find. It would have to be cheap. I'm not paying $25,000 for one of these.
Well, those are only like LeBron, Jordan, Tiger, and Gretzky, right? Those are the biggest names of all names.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're going to move on. Got to make a mention for partner and sponsor Slab Sharks. Of course, we're thankful for their support of our show. Hands down, Troy.
Whew.
This week, Slab Sharks weekly eBay auction has to be the best yet. It's completely insane. There's monster McDavid Cup RPAs. There's a Future Watch auto for McDavid. There's one for Ovechkin and Crosby. Flops for Austin Matthews. Just crazy. So do yourself a favor. Head to slabsharks.com. You got to check it out. It is insane. It a little bit of a sea change too. I found this very interesting. Like you surf that whole first page of like highest bids.
I know where you're
going.
Not
a lot of Bedsy, Troy.
Yeah.
Is the hobby putting Bedsy to bed? Maybe.
Well, plus their deal, the special deal ran out. Here's one.
Yeah.
Here's one. The 98% offer is done now, I think.
Sure. There are plenty of Bedards too, so don't worry. If you're looking for Bedards there. You got to hurry up though. The auction ends tonight. You want to get those bids in quick. If you're listening to the show later than Thursday, shame on you. And missed it, no worries, because when one Slab Sharks Weekly eBay auction ends, of course, the next one begins. And if you're a Canadian hockey cards collector and want to join the movement of listing your amazing cards in an upcoming Slab Sharks auction, we'll definitely recommend checking out their eBay consignment services. They make it very, very easy to sell your cards on eBay because they literally do all the work. You just ship them your cards, drop them off at a show, and they do all the rest. And I think it's an easy way to free up some cash while not being stressed out over trying to figure out the best way to sell your cards. I don't like selling cards. I don't think you do either. No. So that's very appealing to me to be able to say, you do it.
I got this one from Slab Sharks last auction. Ooh,
nice. Ooh, very cool.
Ooh.
We're not only spokesperson, Troy, but we're also.
I can attest. I use the service. I've bought probably.
What was that from? Like it was some guy with like hair plugs or Rogaine or something like that. I'm not just a spokesperson.
Oh yeah, I'm also a member.
Hair Club for Men. Hair Club for Men. That's what it was.
Yeah, I've bought probably 15-ish cards from Slab Sharks.
Good for you, Troy.
Yeah.
So for
if you put a Pekka auto on there, I'll buy it usually.
Yeah. Well, it's a very sad Pekka day. We'll get to that in a minute. But
I know where you're going.
For complete consignment information, including payout rates, check out slabsharks.com. Also, downloading their app makes the whole process even easier. That it is. It's already easy. So do that too. Okay, Troy. Happy news.
Happy news.
Wasn't going to pay no radio voice to our hobby.
Yeah, what's up with that? Taking over your job.
Well, Troy, you know what time it is? You excited?
I am. I didn't even look it up.
I'm not gonna button bar you because now you're getting all internet famous for your and you're gonna get a big ego and you're gonna want You're gonna want like 75% of the show or something like that soon. You're gonna say you can't do a button bar drum roll like I can. We need to check in on our progress on the road to infinity. We're tracking the rapid growth of the PSA 10 pop count for the Connor Bedard base Young Guns. At our last update, we inched closer and closer to the 4,000 Young Guns PSA 10s. Also, not too far off, like 1,500 or so cards from 10,000 copies of this card already being graded by PSA. Pretty nutty stuff there. Okay, Troy. As of our last report, the pop count for the Connor Bedard base Young Guns PSA 10 was at 3,881 with a 45.8% gem rate. After a whole entire 3 days later, Troy, we are pleased and honored to report that now the total has been updated to, not doing drum roll, as of the latest PSA 10 pop records, the current PSA 10 pop count for the 2023 Upper Deck Connor Bedard base Young Guns is now at it just doesn't get old to me. 3,927. Holy moly.
Okay,
3,000.
that's sad. Whatever, depressing. Here's the thing.
Now what?
No,
Okay.
this will always boggle my mind. PSA 9 copies, 3,928. It boggles my mind how close those are too. I mean, they've been the same, and now they're within one of each other.
Yeah, there's not a whole heck of a lot of PSA 4s is what you're
No.
saying for this card yet. Okay, now there's 8,601 copies graded,
All right.
giving the card an updated gem rate of 45.7. A slipping, Troy. It's slipping. It went from 45.8 to 45.7. But we are closer and closer to that magical 4K number. Maybe by Monday.
I have faith. It'll get there Monday.
I think at some point we should do this once a week, though. I'm kind of getting on board with your. So maybe when we get to 4K, unless there's a massive uproar, then we'll plan on doing that.
Yeah.
Well, here's an interesting story, Troy.
Yeah,
PSA,
I got
ever heard of it?
thoughts. Yes, I have.
On Tuesday, PSA made a pretty big announcement unveiling a new part of their service called Grader Notes. Not Grader Notes, Grader Notes. So these are details that will come from the card grader that will give the collector, that would be you and me, clues as to what defects were found that affected the given grade of the card.
I love that. Clues. Not certainties, but they'll give you clues and you can try to figure it out.
I have some examples, so
Yeah.
I'm glad that you pointed that out. All cards graded effective June 25th, 2024, which was a few days ago.
Okay.
At the express level service will now include the grader notes.
Is that an expensive level, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I'll get to it.
Oh, sorry.
Examples of some of the notes you might get are didn't like it. No, just kidding.
Tired, hangry, need nap.
Mad at my girlfriend. No, okay. Some of the real examples are corners bend top left. These are kind of bad. Edges fraying center right. Surface discoloration front top half. Centering back top bottom. I don't even understand. I feel like this is like Morse code or something like that.
It's like, well, they take the first one. It's corners, bend, top left. So look at the top left corner. There's a bend. It's almost like you have to go from the last part to then the first word to the second word.
Well, it's like in math, like order of like PEMDAS, right? Order of operation.
Order operations on this stuff.
So it feels a little vague to me. Like, can you be a little bit more specific? Like, show a heat map or something like that. So it's obviously the grader is just like typing in whatever shorthand that they're giving them.
Yep.
To and it is better than nothing. So I want to not
at least it points you in a direction.
Yes. So negative on the bit there. Where I guess I have issues with this is that it starts at the express level service, where at that now they have like all these names for services and they have a lot of them.
Yeah.
At Express, you're paying $129 US at that rate to get the card graded. So there's bulk, value plus, and regular that are all below Express, where you won't get this added feature of the grader notes. And my problem with this, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that they're doing it to say, well, there's better margins at $129, so we can afford the extra expense or blah, blah, blah. But they're also saying that, like, it's important to improve transparency or to increase it. And this is where grading is
Well, as
evolving.
long as they can make a profit on it, it's important. If they can make a profit, it's important.
I'm pretty sure they're making a profit at bulk and value too. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it. And for a grader to do edges fraying, it's not like you're getting like a tag level dig report or anything like that.
Take it. These notes have to be already written. They've had to been doing this already, right? Like they
I would
can't.
hope so.
I mean, just for their own internal like audits and stuff, they have to keep track of this stuff. They can't just look at the card and then be like 9. Maybe they do. I would put nothing past them, but this doesn't seem like a very added expense. Like it doesn't seem very costly to add this kind of level of service. So, if you want my thoughts, boo. Make it available for everyone. That's what I say.
It would have been a huge win. I think it would have been very celebrated had they done that. But now it just seems like, oh, here's another way. It seems more like profiteering.
Yeah. Here's another way to
and listen, they're a company that's trying to make money. So I'm very capitalist in nature. And I don't try to bemoan companies that are trying to make money because what's the point, right? If they're not doing it. But it just, to me, it's like they're not seeing the forest through the trees here.
Well, maybe they offer this at every level, but okay, so we're at what's this express level? I get the full words there, but as you go down, they kind of remove letters, and then you got to kind of figure it out. There's a character limit. You got corner B, and then 2 empty letters, and then a
beautiful
T.
bend. What? I think you're playing Wordle or something like that.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Okay, yeah.
That'll be the Gong Show grading service.
I'm going to chalk this up to missed opportunity. That's the way I'm going to describe it. While we're on the subject of PSA, though, as I was looking for information, I did notice a tweet on X, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm still so confused.
Let's talk about this thing.
So apparently they had an on-site grading event in Shanghai, and they just graded this puppy, Troy. You can't see it on YouTube. It is a 2005 Ultimate Collection Sidney Crosby Ultimate Rookies Auto Shield 101 PSA 9 Auto 10. So it's a Crosby Rookie NHL Shield RPA, which is very exciting in of itself. But what makes it like ridiculous is with Ultimate Shields and rookies are game used.
So this is amazing.
Yeah.
Did you send the bat signal to our friend?
No, I thought about that. Like
we won't say his name but this is something that would be right up his alley.
I would bet dollars to donuts, Troy.
Yeah.
You know what? This is his card.
When I was listening to a Wilf Paymont YouTube video, the guy said dollars to donuts, and he was saying something, and I just turned the video off. No, I'm just kidding.
Started a revolution, Troy. Yeah. I am a trendsetter when it comes to 45-year-old lingo. That's what I do.
Back to this card. This is fantastic. I mean, I'm not the horizontal guy. Even the shields, I'm not the biggest fan, but this thing is great, especially the provenance of it.
Provenance, yes. This could be the most valuable Crosby rookie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe arguably, but what would be more valuable given it's a Shield 101 RPA Auto 10
game used?
I don't know. You think it's a $200,000 card, or is that a little rich for Crosby?
Well, I think it's 6 figures. I don't know how much in 6 figures.
No, some lucky person owns it. Okay, got to move on. We got so much to get to. What was your favorite Linus Ullmark moment with the Boston Bruins, Troy?
Just gone. Big trade.
The Boston Bruins shipped Ullmark to the Ottawa Senators in exchange for goaltender. Is it Eunice Korpisalo? Is that how you say it?
I think so. I'd always say Jonas, but I think it's Eunice or Uzi Sorrow. So Eunice. I'll go Eunice.
Forward Mark Kastelik, who I keep getting in 2023 sets, and I'm angry about because it's like, oh, this guy. But according to Phil, Ottawa superfan, fan and favorite. So I don't know. Maybe Bruins like him. Then a 2024 first round pick. Ottawa will also retain 25% of Korpisalo's salary, My first impression, Troy, of this is that it's a win-win for both teams. Well, we'll do the easy one first. I think a huge win for the Senators.
Yeah, I think Senator fans will be happy, very happy.
We've seen repeatedly now how important a solid, dependable goalie is to team success. And if I'm a Sens fan, I'm completely jumping up and down right now. Allmark is just 30, so he's got a few good years left. Was great, I would say, in all 3 years with Boston. He was, of course, the Vezina Trophy winner for 2023. This past season, pretty good too. Record of 22, 10, and 7, 2.57 goals against, 0.915 save percentage. Last season, the Senators goalies were not so good. Korpisalo had 3.27 goals against, 0.890 save. And then check this out. Anton Forsberg, almost identical, 3.21 goals against and identical 0.890 save percentage. So I'd call this a big upgrade for a team that still has some pretty young or a pretty exciting young core with the likes of Brady Tkachuk, Timmy Stützle, Jake Sanderson. Maybe help them make a playoff push next year, Troy. What do you think?
Definitely. I would be super happy if I was a Sens fan. However, it'll be interesting because now we can really see what's been the knock on Allmark all the time is, oh, he's got this great defensive team in front of him. They limit all the chances. Well, here we go. So, but I'd be super happy if I'm a Sens fan going from what they had to going to Allmark.
Yeah, and this is, I think, where the Bruins side of this gets a little interesting because so normally, like I prescribe in the world of trade evaluation, which of course I'm very known for, nowhere, that the team that gets the best player wins, right? Yeah. It's very obvious here that Ottawa got the best player. But in this case, though, I think it's a little more complicated than that because the whole issue in Boston has been you have this two-headed monster at net. You have Allmark, who's been probably better than they hoped. And then you have this young up-and-coming Jeremy Swayman, who at some point something's got to give.
Yeah.
And they even tried to trade Allmark at the trade deadline. And so the plan is obviously to, and any team would do this, to go with what is Swayman, like 25 or something like that. You're going to go with the 25-year-old over the 30-year-old, all things considered, every day of the week. And so it's a little bit of, in a weird way, I think, addition by subtraction. Right, where Swayman knows he's the guy.
Yep.
You get him to play more. You're not paying two number one goalies with your salary cap. So I think the biggest win, besides getting the backup goalie now in Korpisalo, who knows what Kostelic is. Every team wants a first round pick, but the fact that Ottawa is also retaining some of Korpisalo's salary, that should free up cap for the Bruins to go sign some top six help or something like that.
For sure. And also, if I'm a Senators fan, I'm happy because if we have to remember, Allmark had a no trade. He had teams that he could not be traded to. So I would be happy he's coming off Ottawa because that was at least wasn't one of the teams he didn't want to come to. So he kind of wants to be there.
How do you feel about the return, though? If you're a Boston Bruins fan, are you?
I mean, I'm assuming they're going to slot Korpisalo into as like a backup role. I have no clue what other goalies they have in their system. He doesn't excite me that much. I mean, any forward would excite me, but I don't know what his stats are. I can't tell you anything about Kostelic.
I would be okay with this trade if, and I don't know their cap situation.
First round picks good. I always love draft picks, especially first round.
But if it gives them money to sign a player, then I'm all about it. Not much of a hobby angle here. I guess you could look at Allmark, who's a 2015 Young Guns. PSA 10 is a pop 209, 36% gem rate. Last sold for $39 in the US on June 13th. Jeez. That's cheap. So if you're a Sens fan, you want to cheer on Allmark, $40 and get a Young Guns PSA 10. All right, Troy. I guess, well, believe it or not, the NHL Draft is Friday.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How did this happen? I was dumbfounded because I'm like, this is way too soon. What is going on here? What is the NHL doing? Having their draft, like essentially right after the season ends, like give it a minute, right?
Yeah.
Like a week at least or something like that. And so I was like, God, when was the draft last year? For some reason, I thought it was in mid-July or something like that. And then I look it up and it was the same day, basically the 28th of June. Which maybe more confused, which is a surprise to no one. So I looked up one like, well, when did the finals end last year? The last game of the Stanley Cup Finals last season was June 5th.
Yeah, these playoffs went crazy long.
Forever, dude.
Plus the extra day, right? They had to give for travel for Florida, Edmonton because of the distance. I think that's built into the CBA. So you had to give 2 days between games, right?
Yeah, the season ended 19 days later this year than last. It's almost 3 weeks, of course.
Yep.
Pretty soon, like the finals are going to end like the weekend before the season starts.
Well, it's like baseball. I used to follow baseball pretty regularly, and the World Series would get into November, like that first week of November.
Well, so anyways, the draft is here, Troy.
Yeah,
like tomorrow or 2 days. I don't know when it is. Friday, something like that.
I want to kind of go and just stand outside and stare at the spear because I'm assuming they're going to put the whole draft board up on the outside of the spear. I mean, I haven't been there. The pictures of that place are absolutely amazing. I love what they do with it, and they show like the funny like face on it and stuff during the. It seems like a really cool venue.
It really snuck up on us, and on one hand, I feel like totally unprepared. But then I kind of realized that maybe what's really happening is for anyone that thought or wondered if the like Macklin Celebrini hype would be remotely close to Connor Bedard, I think the answer is very obvious as it's not.
No,
because it's like, oh, the draft is tomorrow. Yeah. Where we were like, everyone had like, we were like marking off on our calendars when Connor Bedard was going to get drafted, and we already knew he was going to go to too.
Yeah,
because the draft lottery was months prior to that. Well, I did look up NHL.com, and so Troy, here's their top 10 prospects.
I'm gonna zoom in so we can read them.
And again, feeling unprepared. So obviously we know who Celebrini is. How many other names on this list? Like, are you even remotely? I'll tell you who I know Iginla.
Yes.
Because of his dad.
Yes.
I've heard of Michael Haig. And then because of the NCAA tournament, I know, is it Zeev Bayam? Is that how the defenseman for Denver?
Yeah. Yeah. So, man. Yeah, I do remember him. For sure, I've heard that name. But the rest of these guys, besides Iginla and Celebrini. Why? I've watched enough Michigan State. I should have known this guy. That's embarrassing.
And it's like, well, you might be like, what's the hobby relevance here? And that really comes from if any of these top 10 or any other draftees this week happen to make their team, especially to start the season, then they could end up being a Series 2 or extended Series Young Guns. Yep. So I don't know what we call it. It's like a wait and see class. And then with Celebrini, it's going to depend on what he decides to do. Because remember, he was, I think, the youngest player in college last year, like
freshman,
17.
Right? Yeah, freshman.
Yeah, he's a freshman. He was 17 most of the year. It's not like he turned 18 in the fall. And so I don't know if anyone would blame him for going back.
I would want him back. If I was an NHL team, I'd want him to go back. Like, NCAA is really good hockey, really good developmental hockey. I think you send him back for another year.
I think the only counter to that argument would be that Will Smith signed, and if you want them to both start right away, I don't know. It depends on your development philosophy. So, yeah, I'm calling this a wait and see draft. We'll see what happens. But then again, too, right? You get players that come in with a ton of hype that never pan out, and then there's guys that there could be a name on this list of 10 or in the top 20 or 30 that ends up being a Hall of Fame or two. Also, well, I think tonight is the NHL awards. Why is all this happening right away? I feel like it's like, can you spread this out a little bit? And I'm sure it's trying for like production efficiencies, but
well, plus you get it all out of the way, and then the summer can be for whatever you need. Free agency, players go out, scatter. They all go to their cabins or cottages, as our Canadian friends call them.
Nobody, that's gross. Well, they've been announcing some awards over the past, like the Selke they announced, right? Barkov won that, and a couple other ones. Well, probably the three big ones or the biggest ones, the trophies that will be announced tonight are the Hart, where we have Kucherov, McKinnon, McDavid, our finalists. Who do you have winning, Troy?
I want to know when the voting took place. did they truly wait till after this playoffs or the season? They must.
I think it's before the playoffs start.
Yeah, it's got to be regular season, right? Playoffs shouldn't matter to any of these except like the consummate. Right? That's the MVP. Okay. All right. I want to see Kucherov because I love that he doesn't care.
I'm gonna go McKinnon.
If Kucherov won and he was there, he would slowly walk up, meander, not even try to give thanks for the award.
Well, then you have Vezina, where you have Bobrovsky, Hellebuck, and Thatcher Demko.
Yeah, Bob's just in my head because he's the playoffs, but I think Hellebuck had better stats, right?
Hellebuck had a much better regular season, but was kind of bad in the playoffs. Yeah. So I'm going to give the edge to Hellebuck here, which again is kind of weird because recency bias would have you heavily favor Bobrovsky.
Yeah, I would. My first came to my thought, if we're going regular season, I was going to say Hellebuck.
And then Norris, you have Makar, Quinn Hughes, and Roman Josi. Who do you got winning the Norris?
Oh, man. I don't know. Makar. I don't know enough of their stats.
I'm going to go Quinn Hughes.
All right.
Just a zag there.
And no one loves no one likes Roman Josi. No hobby love.
Do these matter for like hobby market? Do you think these awards, any of the 9 guys? Yeah.
Oh, you know what? None of these awards, but like Calder, I'm sure does. And
I didn't even bother rolling because we all know who's going to win that one.
Faber, I know that. Yeah, Faber.
Faber. You've been campaigning all weekend, haven't you?
Of course.
Okay. Next story. Did you see this? That Alex Marullo looks like he's throwing in the towel.
Snake. This guy is something else, isn't he?
Is it him though?
I don't know. I don't know if it's the state. This guy. I don't know. The whole situation's. Let's just say.
I feel really bad for Coyotes fans.
I do. I feel terrible, but I think the right move was made. Let's go to a city that wants us. We don't have to play any games. We got an owner that looks like he's willing to spend all the money in the world to start them up. So, yeah, this whole Arizona thing is weird.
Yeah, that was a good move. So remember what happened is in the agreement negotiated by the NHL to move the Coyote, it's really just the players and the like physical assets, right, to Utah, because the name, the franchise records, the history all was retained by Marullo, and he was given a 5-year exclusive agreement to basically resuscitate the franchise and start the Yotes up again.
Yep.
Now, I think the crux of his plan was hinging on a land auction that was supposed to be a week or two ago, and where a 95-acre lot that he was going to bid whatever it took to buy, build. You can't just build a stadium now. It has to be like an entertainment district, whatever that means.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that's bars and restaurants and clubs and hotels and casinos where those are legal, all that sort of stuff.
We don't have, we kind of do. The Vikings with their training facility kind of trying to do that a little bit. Nothing on the scale of like, I've been to like the Kansas City Power and Light District, which kind of reminds me of that. And I've been to the Atlanta Braves stadium. They have kind of that.
Play hockey there?
No, I didn't, but I had to go down there for work and I went to a Braves game, and they have like a little entertainment district where they built their new baseball stadium.
So he wanted to do that, but right before the auction, the Arizona State Land Department canceled it.
Yeah, like, nope.
I don't think they liked his plan, whatever reason. And so basically he's like giving up. He said, he's essentially going to walk away from the Coyotes, which again, getting back to what really matters are all the fans there.
Yeah.
And it seems like that there's a lot of doubt if there will ever be a team, if the Coyotes will ever come back to life at this point. And I think that that's what the league was selling to Arizona fans, is that, yes, this team is moving, but don't worry, within 5 years, if Marullo follows through on what he's promising, you'll get your team back. Doesn't appear that that's the case.
So then does everything go to the Utah team? I wonder if they would just say, okay, Utah, here's Arizona's
I don't know.
logo, the trademarks, you get all that if you want to use it for retro stuff. And here's all the weird part was like the records and stuff. That's kind of weird. I've never heard that like negotiated to stay at a previous franchise.
Do you think we should step in, build an arena? If you sold your Pekka PC, would that give us enough money?
That would give us enough money for probably 2 bathroom stalls. And then we
Better than one.
we have a lot more to do.
Well, one men's, one women's. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, I'm just kind of like one stall, like I guess one toilet for the men, one toilet for the women.
Okay. It's a start, right?
Start.
Yeah, pretty sad. So I really hope that people in Arizona get a hockey team soon because, look at all the great hockey players right now. There would be no AM34.
Yep, Austin Matthews.
Yep. All right, Troy, grab some tissues.
Okay.
Got to talk about the Hall of Fame.
Sentimental time. Are we going to talk about how Alexander McGillney got in? Oh, wait.
Nope. 3 former NHL players were announced as 2024 Hall of Fame inductees.
Okay.
The first, Jeremy Roenick.
Ooh.
Troy was selected by the... Yeah.
Was that controversial?
Maybe. Selected by the Blackhawks with the number 8 pick in the 1988 NHL entry draft, Roman had 1,216 points, 513 goals, 703 assists in 1,363 career games with the Blackhawks, the Yotes, Flyers, Kings, and Sharks. Do you remember him on the Flyers?
Yes, for sure I do.
Okay. Oh, I do too. Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
He's 4th, Troy, in points in NHL history among United States-born players. Behind Mike Modano, who had 1,374, Patrick Kane, 1,284, and Phil Housley, St. Paul, Minnesotan's own, 12,300, or not 12,000, 1,232. Roenick retired in 2009. So he's been waiting since, 2014 to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know a little bit controversial, a little bit of a checkered past. Was he deserving, in your opinion, Troy, to be a hockey Hall of Famer?
Oh, probably. Yeah, for sure. Probably. His stats, I think. And how does he have any cups? Did you say that? And I totally wasn't listening.
No, I believe, right?
That's a good question. Maybe I should look it up and just see. I don't remember him winning one, but that doesn't mean he didn't. No, he does not.
I don't think he does.
No individual hardware. So from a stats perspective, yeah, probably. I mean, 500 goals seems like these days is kind of a given. 1,200 points.
He had cool flow and warm-ups skating around the ice. I remember that.
Yeah, did he get into any of the... was he one of those saying stuff and then people are getting all mad at him? I can't remember if... he speaks his mind. So. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. He speaks his mind. So, but I think it's fine. I mean, I'm fine with it. No argument from me.
Roenick's rookie is a 1990 OPG Premier, card number 100. PSA 10 pop of 1,046. Last sold for $50 on Tuesday, just after he was announced as a Hall of Famer. So you can get it for about... That's an interesting photo. Haven't seen too many like that in a rookie card. What's he skating just in front of the goalie?
Yeah, he's doesn't want to touch that big waffle blocker. He's scared of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Troy joining Jeremy Roenick in the Hall is Pavel Datsyuk. Datsyuk played 13 seasons in the NHL, all for the Red Wings. So he retired a while ago, but has been playing in the KHL, I think, until pretty recently. In the NHL, he scored 314 goals, added 604 assists for 918 points and 953 games played. He is a triple gold member.
Yes, for sure.
Which means he won a World Championship gold medal in 2012. He won Olympic gold in 2018. And he was a 2-time winner of the Silver Stanley Cup in 2002 and 2008. We
were told it's the gold ring they get with the Stanley Cup.
I don't know about it. This makes me happy because for some reason I've been doing a little Datsyuk side PC in the past year or so. I don't know how it happened. It kind of did. I feel weird saying that, but it's the honest to God truth. I don't know how I started PCing Pavel Datsyuk. Well, I actually do. It's I traded on my card post for a very, very cool limited logos card that has the Red Wing, the winged wheel is an awesome patch.
Yep.
And I'm I like this. And then a couple other Datsyuk cards became available. Then I had 4 or 5, and now I have 15. So yeah. But yeah, I guess I have a Datsyuk PC. So good news for me, Troy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's interesting about Datsyuk's rookie in 2001 for his Young Guns, they had that year a retail and hobby version. So 2 different cards, 2 different Young Guns cards in 1 year. The retail Young Guns PSA 10 pop 32, 20% gem rate, last sold for 2,100 US in March. I think this is the more popular one. Maybe
I like it
just
better.
looks cooler.
Yeah, I think it's better looking than the hobby.
Because it sells for more than the hobby, and the hobby is more rare, which is interesting.
There you go.
So the hobby Young Guns PSA 10 popped just 14, 9% gem rate, last sold for 1,686 US on April 2nd.
My favorite opponent in background.
Yeah. Then there's a third announced new Hall of Fame member that played in the NHL, Shea Weber-Troy.
All right.
A lot of people were like, huh? I mean, not that he's a bad player, but
That was
probably
surprising.
the most surprising of the. He's a defenseman from Sicamous, I think, British Columbia. Played 16 seasons in the NHL, 11 for your Nashville Predators, 5 for Montreal Canadiens. Scored 224 goals, added 365 assists for 589 points in 1,038 games played. Played in 7 All-Star games. Won the Messier Leadership Award in 2016. Okay, check this out. This is nuts, mind-boggling. He's the 21st captain of the Montreal Canadiens inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. In fact, Troy, only 10 Canadiens captains are not in the Hall of Fame.
Troy and Josh will now try to name every one of those 10 guys, which we will never get.
Okay, how many of the 21 do you think we could name? Like really quick?
I think I got one. I had one jumped in my head, and I'm looking him up.
Jean Beliveau.
Well, I would say Saku Koivu.
Saku Koivu, that's true.
I don't know if he was a captain, though. I just know he played for Montreal for a very long time.
I think he was.
Okay.
Well, we'll go with it. Rocket Richard, right? You think he was captain?
Oh, yeah, but they're in the Hall of Fame, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. No, 21st
of
the 21
name
captains.
Yeah.
But we're just going to name every Canadiens player we know. So we know one captain who isn't in the Hall of Fame because he can't speak French.
Ooh, Suzuki?
Yeah, and he's still playing.
Yeah, and he's learning.
He's learning. That's crazy, though, that basically 2/3 of your all captains for the 100+ years of the franchise are all in the Hall of Fame. Now, Shea Weber did not win a Stanley Cup or a Norris Trophy.
Boy, just letting anyone in,
win
aren't we?
gold at the World Championships and Olympics, so I know they consider international competition as well. Weber is a 2006 Young Guns PSA 10, pop 83, 43% gem rate, less over 170 US on June 4th. Let's talk about these three first. So your thoughts. So we have kind of Datsuk was the no-brainer. Roenick maybe slightly controversial, and Weber a little bit surprising. Is that a good way to summarize it?
Yeah, I was looking at it. And I'll be honest, I did not watch Shea Weber a lot, being at Nashville and Montreal. Oops. Am I mute?
No, I said shame on you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I watched a little bit of Nashville, obviously, with Pekka, but Shea Weber's always reminded me of, he's like more of that traditional defenseman, which seems like you can't be that now, or else you get no news. You don't get any following because you have to score a ton of goals and points. So, was saying that, I probably well deserved. You'd have to look at maybe some of the advanced analytics stuff, but I mean, played for a lot of years, 1,000 games. I mean, so what do you say, 7-time All-Star, which I know is not what it used to be, and then the leadership award. So I guess I'm fine with it. Just I'm not abruptly opposed to it or anything. We'll just say that.
Does it make you feel like it could be a popularity contest to some degree?
It is. Oh, we know that for sure it is. That's kind of, I mean, here's the thing I've noticed doing all this research on this show, and you start learning about some of these guys that go and work for the Hall of Fame. Eventually they'll get into the Hall of Fame. It's one of those kind of deals. It's, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. Well, it's definitely a popularity contest on some guys, and an unpopularity contest, which is probably why Alexander McGillney is not in there, even though he deserves to be.
All right. Now, my last question is the most important.
Yes.
How much does this at all affect the hobby market? Now, before you answer, think about my Datsuk PC and whether or not I should quit my job with my 15 cards. And if I already have quit my job, Might have to go back tomorrow and beg for it back.
I mean, I thought there's a slight bump, especially if it's a guy that maybe was unexpected. Maybe Shea Weber will have a bump because he wasn't expected to make the Hall of Fame. Or maybe he was. I don't know. I bet there's a little bump, but it seemed like in the past it was like, oh, that's a huge bump. You get in the Hall of Fame, and now I don't think it's what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
But someone can probably show me data that's I'm way off base.
Next, we got to move on to one of our most favorite things, making everything about us, as proper Minnesotans do.
Mm-hmm.
We had a couple of females with strong Minnesota ties also get the call to the Hall, Troy. Natalie Darwitz and Chrissy Wendell Pohl. Congrats to them.
Yeah, sure. I'll congrat one of them, Darwitz. Sure. I got issues with the other one.
Okay. Wow.
High school hockey rears its ugly head in the Hockey Cards Gongshow, Minnesota high school hockey in private schools. So we'll leave it at that. Darwitz obviously was a fantastic hockey player, set tons of records at Egan High School, went on to go for stardom, Team USA stardom, coached at Hamlin, I believe, took them to the national title. Or I know she led that program. They were a D3 hockey school or college. Their hockey program, women's, led them, and then went on to the Gophers as an assistant. Something happened there. We don't know. She left, became the GM of the first team to win the PWHL championship.
It's the Minnesota team. What? It's you can't call like Minnesota.
Team Minnesota, I guess, or the Minnesota team, and then was promptly fired. So take that for what you will. How many times do you see that? GM wins the title, puts together the team, the draft picks, and gets fired after winning the championship.
When they just won like a couple weeks ago too. So what a weird month for her, right? To get you have the high of winning the first ever PWHL championship, and then the low of getting fired as a result.
Yeah, there's some
and then the high of the Hockey Hall of Fame. It reminds me of remember the UMD women's coach that got fired right after winning the national championship?
Yep.
There's a lot of weird things happen in girls hockey like that would never happen in men's.
Yeah,
right?
that was I mean, what I think came out was kind of weird, but it's Darwitz it's something weird's going on there. I mean, I don't know. She left the Gophers in kind of weird terms, like coaching at the Gophers, because the thought was when she joined the Gopher women's hockey coaching staff that she was in line to take over once Brad Frost is done, and Frost has been there forever. Frost is still a young guy, but it seems like she was being kind of brought in to be the next person, and that didn't work out. So,
is there a greater name for a hockey coach than Frost?
Brad Frost, yeah, that's great. That's a good name.
Kind of amazing. And then Troy, the sad part of the show, do you need to grab a tissue? I want to support you. I want you to know I'm here for you. A couple of finalists didn't make it. Notably, Henrik Zetterberg and Pekka Rinne, Troy. What happened?
Yeah, guess they got something against Swedes. No, I am totally fine with Pekka Rinne. Probably will never make it. I
you don't think so?
That. No.
They just put up a statue. How do you put?
That's
how many players have a statue and are not in the Hall of Fame?
I think.
Question.
Well, that's a question. I think he only makes it maybe if there's a really down year and they need someone. Because remember, one time I think he's one-time Vezina, never won a cup, but he did kind of, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, rush in this next wave of the Scandinavian or the Finnish goalie. And while I would love for him to be in the Hall of Fame, I don't think he has the resume for it. We'll see though.
I think you're putting up a defensive wall to protect your feelings.
Yeah. Well, here.
Shea Weber didn't win a Norris, didn't win a cup.
Yeah.
He got in the Hall of Fame. He played for 11 years for the Predators. Why can't Pekka Rinne do it? Does Shea Weber have a statue? He might.
Well, here's what I always look at when I have these talks. I always go to Hockey Reference and they have similarity scores. Which let's do all this background math and let's see what. So for Pekka through 15 years, who is he like? And they actually starred, I think, the Hall of Fame guys, and Johnny Bauer, Roger Vachon, and Eddie Belfour. He's kind of similar to, along with Curtis Joseph, Tuukka Rask, Sean Burke. So I mean, he's in that realm of some get in, some don't get in. So it's
now do Shea Weber.
Oh, let's do Shea Weber. That'll be fantastic. He is like, well, it's gonna be Ryan Suter. Watch.
Those marshmallows.
Famous thrower of marshmallows. Okay, our boy Shea Weber, Zdeno Chara. Who I don't is Chara in the hall? I don't think he's in the hall yet. He should.
But he will be for sure.
Scott Niedermeyer, Chris Chelios, Pronger, Georges. I'm gonna say his name wrong. Bouchard.
Bobby
Crystal
Boucher.
Tang, Crystal Tang, Drew Doughty, Gary Suter. So I mean, some pretty well established Hall of Famers in that similarity score.
I think you got to stump harder for Pekka. You need to be leading the charge. And
go Pekka.
Shouting to the world that he.
You know what Pekka needs to do. You know what I'm gonna stump for Pekka. Hey, sign my card that is at Upper Deck as a redemption. It's been like 2 years now, and I haven't got that thing. But the athlete, don't worry. When I go online, the athlete's committed to sign soon. It's all good.
I can't wait for the Athletic article that says Pekka Rinne 1 vote short of the Hall of Fame because he didn't sign Troy's Upper Deck redemption.
It's like the twisted tinsel too. It's not even that good of a card, but
you pulled that a long time ago.
I actually, you know what? I actually think I bought it on eBay.
Mm-hmm. Wait, you bought a redemption that has taken 2 years to get signed?
Yeah, talk to someone over there.
Okay, well, we've avoided for an hour and 21 minutes, Troy, talking about the Stanley Cup Finals, which ended a few days ago. You want to give a review of my dystopian?
I love it.
AI.
It's the Stanley Cup Finals hobby aftermath. We have Connor McDavid basically aged to about 80, 90, and there's been an apocalypse in Edmonton. They burned down the city because they didn't win the cup. He's holding a number 97 jersey of Dorky. Oh, great picture. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of. I'm going off the rails now. Dark Matter, Apple TV. Go watch it. Good show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check that out. Well, the one place that the hobby could seem to care less about continues to dominate the NHL, Troy. That is, of course, the Bermuda Triangle of Hobby Abyss, Florida.
This picture is way better. I love this.
I worked hard on this.
I don't know if everyone can read this, but
you see the detail on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
So, you like how I put nobody cares in there? Oh, that's my favorite part. Yeah. So, Florida, the Bermuda Triangle of Hockey Abyss. Maybe the state of old people should be renamed to the state of hockey, our state of hockey, right? Because we certainly can't win anything here. That's for sure. And I think we need to just come out and say it. The outcome, while great for Panthers fans, and congratulations to you, Rob from Discord, Mitch, of course, who helped us out with today's show.
Yep.
It's not so bueno for the hobby, Troy. No good there. I think we've already put out our opinions that at the 2 Stanley Cups that the Lightning's won didn't make the hobby care about the likes of like Stamkos and Kucherov and Big Cat. It's pretty hard to assume at this point that it's going to be any different now for Tkachuk, Sasha Barkov, and Officer Bob, right? I mean, if those guys aren't relevant, how are these guys going to be relevant? Or do you think there's a difference there?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't do it today, but yesterday I looked at like players like Tkachuk and Bob and Barkov, and has not been much crazy for them. I think like one Young Guns PSA 10 for Tkachuk had sold 2 days after the Stanley Cup Finals again, so fairly quiet. That leads us to the biggest hobby impact, and it's going to be the old, I guess, what could have been for McDavid and to a smaller degree Draisaitl, their hobby markets. It's early, Troy, but I have to assume that a lot of the air has already escaped the hobby hype balloon for those guys. And I'll admit, I'm kind of bummed that I didn't have like really a rooting interest. I wanted Game 7 to go to overtime.
Yeah.
That's what I cared about. But if Edmonton won, I was really kind of excited just to be a bystander and watch the McDavid hobby market explode. Yes. And now we don't get that experience, I guess. And it was trending that way too. Like if you look at McDavid sales, like we talked about it last show, ramping up to the game, it was pretty crazy. And just to give you a small indication, the last sale Monday night, so during the game, Of his 2015 Young Guns PSA 10, which again is a pop 2,902, 47% gem rate, hit 3,293 US.
So like $1,200 swing, right?
More than it was a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago, right? 41% higher than that mark because it had sold for 2,088 US on June 17th. And like we saw with Slab Sharks, right? That's just one example. Like many big, huge Grail type McDavid cards were put up for auction.
Mm-hmm.
And I can only assume that whether, I don't know how confident people were, if they were rolling the dice or whatever it was, that the Oilers were going to win. And the one thing, I don't know if you thought about this at all. I really, really hope, this is where I try to have so much faith in humanity, that sellers aren't like finding ways to cancel auctions.
Yeah.
So, and especially if they have bids, like I would, and hopefully any selling, I don't know enough about how these, because I would never think to do that. Like I'm always one, it's like, if I'm going to roll the dice and list a McDavid card before game 7's over, and there's no way that you could assume that it was a slam dunk that the Oilers were going to win either. And then I'm going to live with the result. And if I get less for my card, well, that's I gambled and lost.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm guessing like if a card sells, I'm guessing they can probably go. I know I've seen on Facebook groups where people will have, like, this seller will say, "Oh, I don't have the card anymore." So there's got to be some way they know how to do these, like cancel these things. I know I've had to cancel one when someone just told me they weren't going to pay for it. So I was like, all right, well,
yeah.
I'm still going to wait.
I'm sure it's going to happen
because I don't want to get the ding. I'd rather get them the ding. Yeah.
But
no, it will happen for sure. I mean,
the good news, I guess, if you're still a believer or fan of McDavid, is that there's some really big cards now that typically don't ever see the light of day that you now have a chance to go and get. So should be kind of a good buyer's market for McDavid. And then, of course, the big question is, well, what does this all mean for him in the long run? I mean, this is like crystal ball stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Who knows? And as I was thinking about this, it's like, well, okay, what are the givens, right? He's still inarguably, I would say, the best player in the world. So good in the playoffs, even he won the Conn Smythe. Oh, by the way, did you watch the end of the game in Game 7?
I didn't watch the end, but I was going to chime in about the stuff that came out after. Why the stuff always comes out afterwards? The injuries that they were dealing with. Like McDavid sounds like he needs surgery, and Draisaitl sounded like he was dying again. But no, I didn't. I saw the game. They win, and I turned it off.
Okay, so what happened was the game's over, the cup comes out, and of course you got Bettman who immediately gets booed, which was hilarious.
He's getting smart though, because they start booing him, and then he's like, he kind of laughs, but then he'll be like, "Panther fans are the great." He'll do something where they all have to go crazy. So he's smart. He knows what he's doing.
Well, him and Goodell kind of have, I think, a little bit of the same thing. It's like, boo me all you want. Yes. I get paid $30 million to babysit.
More than that.
$50 million a year to babysit billionaires.
Yes.
So laugh all you want, Chuckles, right? Well, so anyways, then they're in Sunrise, right? Enemy territory. They've got the Conn Smythe just sitting there, and he announces McDavid as a winner. And all that starts going through my mind is, for the love of God, don't make him walk out onto the ice.
They're gonna throw rats at
hostile territory and accept this trophy after seconds after losing the Stanley Cup. And thank God they didn't make him do that.
No.
That would have been like brutal to see McDavid's sad face.
Or if he just left the trophy, he's like, I don't need it.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that the loser should win the Conn Smythe? Are you cool with that, or does it seem weird?
Totally fine with that. Sometimes the best players are on the losing team. It happens.
The other thought I had is maybe it's poetic in that the Oilers, just like the Panthers, needed to lose before they could win. It was pretty brutal last year for the Panthers in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Did the Oilers touch the conference trophy champion or whatever they give. Remember, there's the big deal where this year the Panthers, Paul Maurice was like, "You don't touch that bleeping trophy." Like when they went out there and there was a Instagram post where they showed the different pictures from the years, and this year none of them touched the whatever the conference championship trophy. I don't know what they call it.
Well, let's talk a little more short term with McDavid. So, do you think a buyer's market? Would you call it this summer?
I think so.
Me too. So, yeah, overall, a bummer, man. Like, I'm not mad that Florida won, but I'm mad about, again, that we're not going to get to see kind of like the hobby celebration.
Yes, depriving you of the opportunity to sit there and hit refresh as many times as possible on eBay or Slapsharks or to see bids on certain cards.
I kind of feel like this keeps happening in our hobby too, where I was super excited I had all this sort of my own mental buildup for like the Bedard Young Guns, right? And it's gonna be such a hobby celebration. Everyone's gonna be opening boxes where it's gonna be like a whole community thing and puppy dogs and ice cream, and then it's like $42,000 a box, and nobody buys.
Yeah.
And now this, right? We have no McDavid celebration either. But all right, well, maybe next year. We'll see. Today is a pretty big day in the hobby.
Yes.
Upper Deck Extended, finally out. Have some instant reactions, have some thoughts on Extended. Of course, it's the next big pivotal Bedard rookie release. And I got a box. I got you a box, which is sitting here.
Yep.
We got some feedback, Troy, from a listener who opened up 15 cases today. Is that
I would like pass out opening 15 cases at the end.
Fingers would fall off.
Well, yeah, that, and we've said this. We've used this analogy before. It's like I'd be in like what's the movie American Beauty, where he's like laying in the road or shit. The girl's like I'd be just covered in hockey cards. Like I don't know what to do with all these.
We love ripping. Both of us do. Do you think at any point if I said, "Hey, we're going to open up 15 cases," where it would cease being fun? Or no? Like
it depends on the set. Like I could see hockey cards probably. I mean, hockey cards seem to me would be fun, but there's some other products and other things, especially Marvel cards recently, that would get really, really boring. Really
just
boring.
Very repetitive.
Yes, very repetitive, very quickly.
So I opened up a box. I looked at a bunch of breaks. We got the feedback from our friend who opened up a lot.
Yes.
You have yet to open. So I'm going to share my reactions is I really think this whole year that Upper Deck generally killed it on these flagship releases. The cards are, I didn't feel like in Extended that there was I don't know how I want to put this, Troy. Like a card that like a poop card.
Like a bad card.
Way to put it? Yeah, just a card like
but Bedard Canvas Young Guns, isn't that a lot of feedback on that one?
Troy.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
No, I'm talking about like an honor roll, right? Where it's like really one of the. All the cards were interesting. They did such a lot of like the print quality. I'm not saying I know that there's been some issues like as far as like quality control, but just the print technologies used. Looks like even like the common cards look really nice, and I thought that going back to Series 1 and Series 2 as well. And so even if you don't have the best names, I think it's a very fun box to open.
Okay.
Now we posted the first public sale for.
I got it. Okay.
I haven't looked this afternoon. I don't know. Do you have card ladder up? Like how many have sold? But it seems underwhelming.
That price shocked me. Like, I mean, it shouldn't have. The more I think about this, sorry, I'm logged out of card ladder, and I'm too. Right. No, I'm not. I'm in. Yeah, I was shocked when I saw that price. But the more I thought about it, is I shouldn't be based on just the feedback we got. Like the hobby was. I'm not saying that everyone in the hobby reacted to our poll or whatever, but it was pretty obvious from at least our listeners what the prevailing thought on this card was.
Mm-hmm. I'm just doing a really quick count, right? So it's very late at night, almost the end of release day, and I count on card ladder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 canvas have sold Young Guns.
Yeah, there looks like there's some. It seems
And
like
there's
some
a couple of
higher
the black,
sales.
the black ones, the
But
black
these-
and white.
Remember, we're not looking at Terra Peak, so that's always a caveat.
Yeah, I don't know how many of these are paid for. So 6 listings that have ended. I also went back today and went to back on March 6th and counted how many Bedard base Young Guns sold on release day.
Oh, geez.
97.
Wow. Yeah.
And so it's like the sales that I'm seeing in card ladder, like this one 271, another one at that was like 310.
So this is in Terra Peak. There's a 347, $347.67 US one showing up.
Well, they're all eBay sales. So
yeah, 376. So it looks like it's going up from that 271 sale, but nothing crazy.
There was one black and white that shows on card ladder for 1,461. Is that in Terra Peak?
I don't see that one. No.
Okay.
But here, let me go by average sold price.
And there's another one for 550 for the black and white.
Oh yeah, I see it. The black, there's a $1,463.86. That's in Terra Peak.
That person's gonna have deep regrets.
Or else it's someone or doing that to try to paying all the fees for some reason. But whatever.
Well, when we did this post, if you're watching on YouTube, we're showing the image of our first public sale post that we do on Instagram. The tons of negative comments. Like this card is just not clicking, I think, with people. And so, yeah, pretty underwhelming from that regard. And I guess so the good thing with Extended is that at least you have Fantilli and Cooley. So it sounds like, or it seems like that in retrospect, it was a good move for Upper Deck to hold those guys back and put them in Extended. Like I said, I had a lot of fun opening the box at $150. I don't love the price, but I was okay with it. I do want to get, though, to the feedback from our listener who we've got to know a little bit.
Yeah.
Who bought 15 cases today, and just kind of like 3 categories of feedback that he gave me. And so the first is what he said about his sense of, is there good value in a box, right? And at the point he started, he said, so through 10 of 15 cases so far, here's some of my initial thoughts. The feel of value from Extended versus Series 2 and even Series 1 is night and day. It's nowhere near as watered down. Each case felt like it should to me. Win some, lose some, but even when you lose, it's not all or nothing. You can probably still account for 60 to 70% of your cost. I assume a lot of that has to do with them moving Fantilli and Cooley into Extended, plus the price being half.
Yeah.
He said a lot of the previously attainable chases that seemed impossible in Series 2 seem back where they should be. He said, for example, Day with the Cup hit only 1 in 15 cases. He opened up 15 cases of Series 2.
Wow. That's a lot of money.
He says, I've hit 4 in my 10 cases of Extended. High Gloss, 1 in 15 cases of Series 2, 2 so far in Extended. Red Outburst hit 1 or 2 in 15 of Series 2, have hit 5 so far, and a gold.
Oh, nice. Did he tell you the gold? Who you got?
I'll ask. He said, it definitely doesn't feel like you need a big Bedard to do well here. That said, I range from 5 to 12 Bedards per case. I think 15 cases of Series 2, the most valuable non-Bedard card I got was a Carlson Deluxe. He said, I've hit several already that would top that.
Okay.
Then I asked him about condition, and he said, my only real negative is condition on a lot of the Young Guns and first round cards is, holy heck, how after all this can they not solve this? The same hacks and nicks and the same players in the same spots over and over again. And in the chase cards that are printed on normal stock, most have a lot of white chipping and nicks on the edges.
Oh, that stinks.
All 4 Day with the Cups have them. all my swagnificence. I wish I took a little more. They took a little more pride in resolving these.
Interesting.
And then he said of cards he really likes, the Hockey Heroes Acetate. Have you seen those?
I have not. I'm gonna look it up when you talk.
Oh, they're amazing, Troy. Amazing. Love those cards. He said I think they're awesome. Decent size set, 40 cards in there. So I think not too tough to pull, but beautiful cards. And they said the silver skates are great for a lower end insert. There's a silver bar towards the bottom of each that looks like it was made for an auto. It does. Like when you see those cards, it feels like the auto is like missing by ear. Yeah, these are the
That looks cool.
They're acetates.
Yeah, that looks cool.
I think these are going to be a big hit. I wish there was like a very rare parallel, but I'm not sure if there is. So, I mean, it's just one man's perspective, which you got to take it for what it is. But when you've opened up 15 cases, I'm going to definitely listen.
Yeah.
There. I don't know. What do you think of all this so far? Are you excited to open up your box?
I am. I'm excited to open my box. I didn't watch any breaks today. This case review is probably the most I've heard about series or extended series. But I'm excited to open some, especially at the price. So if I like it, I'll probably buy some more.
And we'll have to see if the Bedard Canvas market heats up.
Yep.
And even too, Troy, like when you look at the tribute cards of his, they're not selling super high, like in the 150 to 200 range, right? There's a 0809 retro tribute. I think that's the more common one. But I mean, that's pretty cheap. There's one that sold for like $80 or something like that.
Wow.
So in general, I don't know if you've thought this as well, but I feel like the Bedard market's cooling down a little. Like the hobby's a little Bedarded out at this point. Does that make sense?
Well,
to you?
Bedarded out, and maybe some people took a step back and said, looking at his stats, we're like, oh, maybe he didn't score that much. But obviously he's injured. He's still young. He's got all the talent in the world. Sit tight.
Okay. We're going to move on to our PWCC Weekly preview. Of course, they're a Gongshow partner sponsor. Very thankful for their support of our show. Still a little bit in the calm before the storm as we wait for all the new exciting Fanatics Collect features and services to be unveiled and rolled out. But the auctions, Troy, they're still rolling. Always amazing cards to bid on in the PWCC Weekly. We have spent time looking through the auction and have picked out our favorite vintage and modern cards, of course. And we're going to start with our vintage favorites per normal, and I will go first. I went with some weird ones, but I was just fascinated. So my first pick, all the way back to 1990, Troy.
Yes.
Is the 1990 score Eric Lindros. You ever heard of him? You like him?
I have. Oh, I should have. I failed miserably. I should have got like a boo button or something.
Boo.
And I would have been canceled. I would have seriously been canceled.
It's a 1990 score Eric Lindros bonus card. PSA 10. It's the B1 bonus.
Yep.
Yeah, it's one of the two junk. I actually picked two junk wax air cards this week. So this is the first one.
Well, I think
a bonus card.
All of these might be in the auction. There's other bonus cards in there, and I didn't know.
There's a couple other ones in there too.
Yeah.
Can you think of another bonus card in any set? It was just a weird kind of designation of a card to me.
Well, like to me, is that your favorite product, that 21-22 ice? Are those bonus cards when you get the bonus pack?
Yeah, the bonus pack. Well, and then I think of like the bonus packs you get in mega boxes at retail. Maybe that'd be like equivalent to going back to 1990. So this bonus card B1 for Lindros is one of 5 in the bonus set that was issued only in factory sets. So you had to buy a factory set for 1990 score. And I got a little confused, shocking to no one, that in 1990 score, of course, we know there's the score Canadian and score American. Score Canadian has a red logo. Score American has blue logo. You look at this card, it's got red logo. So you assume, must be score Canadian. I don't know, though. The more I looked into it, the more I became convinced that they just had one card that went to both products as it pertained to the bonus set.
Interesting.
Right? Because where I get those clues are on the back of the card, where they have 2 flags, an American and Canadian flag. That doesn't help. One of the things too that you'll read is that on the red logo scored Canadians. On the back, they like all sort of Canadian versions of hockey cards at the time had both English and French.
Yeah.
This only has English. And then if you look in the lower left corner there, Troy, where
Yep.
it has like the copyright, it says it's printed in the United States.
Yep.
So how do you figure that out? Red logo, but printed in the US, no French. So I don't know. Maybe somebody knows and can message us. The card is horizontal. Features Lindros in the jersey of one of your favorite teams, Troy, the St. Michael's Buzzers.
Yep. Favorites.
For which Lindros helped lead the Buzzers to the Ontario Junior B title in 1989. You had season tickets that year, right?
Yeah, well, I'm curious. Do you think Lindros missed laundry day on this thing? Boy, talk about some wrinkles on this bad boy. It's like it was crumpled up in the bin, and they're like, go grab a jersey, and this is what he came out with.
It's the only card in the bone of the 5 that features him in the Buzzers uniform. The other 4 show Lindros in his Oshawa Generals CHL uniform.
Okay.
So the card's a PSA 10. It has junk wax era, right? So what we think, looked up pop count. What would you guess, Troy? Like 400,000 or something? You got to guess for the pop count?
Well, I would say if it's a bonus fact, it's probably pretty low, or a bonus thing.
What's your guess?
Oh, God. 1,000.
61.
Shoot, my first thought was 41. I swear to God, I went 41.
Really?
And I was like, no, I think there's a lot of these out there. But then I'm dumb. Go with your first instinct always.
I like that PSA 10 centering too. You think that's
maybe.
60-40?
Maybe. It's tolerances,
Maybe.
within tolerances.
That's within tolerance, Troy. I think this would be a fun card, though. And if you're a Lindros fan or collector, you're a Lindros fan, so you and Baby want to own this.
Lindros guy.
You know, we talked about our last show, right? There was not a huge variety of like rookie year cards back in the early 1990s. It's not like today, right, where you have thousands of options. But the last sale of the 1990 Pro Set Eric Lindros bonus card, B1 PSA 10, April 28th, when it sold for $48 US. All-time high sale is $90 US from last July. You got a current bid?
$13 US.
Sweet. All right, you got the next vintage card.
I do. Here we go. Ooh, got to put it on the screen here. 1964 Topps Hockey, Bill Hay, number 7. And I feel like I've looked at 64 Topps a couple times in the last, I don't know, we'll say 10 shows. So I'm not going to go into that much detail about the set. However, remember, it's notable for some firsts for Topps. It was the first time all the teams in the NHL were included in a Topps issue. It was also the first time the company printed more than 100 cards in a complete set. Most notably, though, 64 Topps Hockey was the first time they used the tall boy format in a sports card set. So there you go. I was really interested in this card because of the player, Bill Hay. Didn't know anything about Bill Hay, so I always look him up, and then I say, this guy looks very interesting. But he has a very decorated career in hockey, and I wanted to explore that some more, so I chose to look at this card. So here we go with Bill Hay. Center, Josh, from Lumsden, Saskatchewan, Canada. Lumsden. I think I got that.
One of my favorite vacation spots.
One of your favorite. Do you have a cottage there?
No. I have a cabin there, of course.
Just looking. Oh, okay. He's in the Hall of Fame as a builder.
Legos or what? What do you build?
He built the game. He built the game of hockey, Josh.
All right.
One-time Cup winner in 61 with Chicago. He also won the 1960 Calder Award. 2-time NHL All-Star Game selection. As a player, played 8 seasons in the NHL with the Chicago Blackhawks. For his career, 113 goals, 273 assists for 386 points in 506 games played. Hayes centered the $1 million line with Bobby Hall on the left wing and Murray Balfour on the right. But after his NHL playing career, Hay made a huge impact on the game of hockey with some of his post-NHL roles. So, Josh, he only served as president and CEO of the Calgary Flames, and like his father, was later to serve as president and COO of Hockey Canada.
Okay.
Great believer in grassroots development for hockey, he was instrumental in helping build the Canadian Hockey Center of Excellence model. And in America, we have like the American development model. So
Is
I
that
know
the
what those-
program of excellence? Is that sort of the derivative of that? Or
Oh,
what?
I bet it is. I bet it is.
Can I
Also-
go back to the line
well,
thing for a minute?
Yeah. I don't know why they
Pretty
call it the
sure-
$1 million line. I didn't look it up.
Well, I'm sure that all players like maybe made $1 million. Well, what year? No.
No.
Is there a single line that has a name in the NHL right now?
There's got to be, and we're just too dumb to think of it.
We need more.
Kid
We gotta
line.
bring this
Isn't there
back.
a kid line in the Rangers?
Oh, that was the Rangers. Yeah, but they stunk.
You got mad at that one.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Okay. Along with Murray Costello, then president of the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association, Bill Hay led the discussions and negotiations to merge Hockey Canada and the CAHA or CAHA.
Kaha.
Yep. We had growing up, I was in MAHA, the Minnesota Amateur Hockey Association, into the Canadian Hockey Association, later to be called Hockey Canada. He also played a significant role in working with the Seaman Hotchkiss Hockey Foundation on special projects, stop laughing, including Hockey Canada's officiating program of excellence, the Ed Chinwith internship program, and the National Coach Mentorship Program. As Josh giggles uncontrollably, I'll keep going. In 1980, Bill Hay joined the selection committee of the Hockey Hall of Fame, serving in that capacity until 1997. Additionally, he was named to the Hall of Fame's board of directors, a role which he served from 1995 until his retirement in 2013. Lo and behold, he was elected into the Hockey Hall of Fame as a builder in 2015. Played an integral role in two major expansion projects at the Hall, as well as the 18,000 square foot state-of-the-art Doc Seaman Hockey Resource Center, the home of the Hockey Hall of Fame's vast artifact and archival collections, and focal point for research into the history of Canada's great game. Why is that open to the public, and how do I go see that? Because that, to me, is great. I've never been to the Hockey Hall of Fame, so maybe it's in there and you can go rummage through it, but I doubt it.
You were supposed to go, and then you got lazy.
I did. I was tired.
Well, because you don't. You have this weird thing where you're too afraid to sleep when you travel, and then you're tired and crabby the whole time. You're
too afraid.
We need to like ship you to Toronto a month before the expo.
Well, that's what actually you bring that up. I'm thinking about going out like at least 3 days before, and just on my own time, just get my own room and just go explore Toronto.
You know, I love you, but you were crabby when we showed up, and then I found out you haven't slept in 2 days. It's like, well, no wonder.
Then I slept and I was all good.
Now, do you think so? He left the Hall of Fame in 2013. Do you think he would have let Yager in, or?
I hope so. Or maybe he's in cahoots with Lanny McDonald. So that's Bill Hay. Now, the card itself, PSA 7, looks really nice. Actually, I think it looks fantastic, but
Great
centering is really good. Not perfect. I mean, it's off a little bit, but not by much. Edges and corners are good when you zoom in. Really nice color. The really only imperfections, there's a fisheye here. Whoops. Whoa. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a fisheye by his ear, little white dot. And then if you go down to the bottom here, I don't really know what this is. On the glove, there's something going on here, like maybe
could be on the slab. It could be a scratch on the.
Yeah, it could be a slab too. Yeah, slab issue too. So again, if you're interested in this card, listen, this card ain't going to cost you a lot of money. So if that's something you're worried about, take a look at it. Back of the card, fantastic. Has my favorite thing, the cartoon. So I like that. But notice the color of this thing, like no real noticeable chipping. There's definitely some at the top, but these red tops, tall boys, there's usually always some kind of chipping. I mean, there's slight on the edge, but it looks really nice, I think. Bottom left corner definitely has some chipping on the corner there, but who looks at the back of the cards anyways, except me? Nobody. For the cartoon. But overall, really nice card. PSA 7 pop of this card is 68, which is the most for any grade. And the most recent sale of a PSA 7 copy of this card I could find was on May 7th, 2023 via PWCC for $49.20 US. Current bid, $11 US.
Almost every time you pick a card for vintage, the cynic in me, like my initial reaction, Troy, is who is this jabroni nobody's ever heard of? And 100% of the time they're in the Hall of Fame, and it's like, oh, I'm the idiot.
Bill Hay.
That's the best part about the segment is how much we get to learn about the history of the game. I think so, anyways.
For sure.
All right, the last vintage card is a 1991 score, another score.
Who's this?
Oh, look at that.
Why is he yelling at Hasek?
He's got
That's
hockey
awesome.
mouth. Oh,
Yeah.
I've got so much to say about this card.
All right,
It's a
let's go.
1991 score American. Dominic Hasek, top prospect, PSA 10. So when I think of like the Hasek rookie, I like my default is to go to the upper deck, right?
Yeah.
Where it's basically like a base card and then a French version maybe. And I didn't remember this card, but the design like screams junk wax era, doesn't it?
Yep.
Okay, we got to get in this card. Did they do something with like the photo here? Hasek looks like he's 4 years old and 3 feet tall.
Well, he wasn't. I mean, I always thought he was small, but he's not. He was like 6'2".
Yeah, so that's what
But he is.
like,
he's got
like
really wide legs, so he's probably down a little. Yeah, it does look something with the perspective. Something looks off,
and especially like with the weird guy in back making a strange face.
Yeah, it could be like a forced perspective kind of. It also reminds me of how they have to shoot like Lord of the Rings with the hobbits. They have to do this forced perspective thing to make them look tiny or Gandalf look huge, and it's almost like they're playing around with the zoom and stuff to make it. It does look off.
Or they took like a 9-year-old and said, "Hey, we need a Hasek card. Can you put on the uniform and go?" It just looks weird.
Yeah,
right?
Something does look weird. Some probably photographer could tell us what we're seeing.
And who is that behind him? With like,
well, it seems like he looks familiar. Is it? I don't know.
I read the back of the card.
Yeah, it's like it looks like a short name, but who knows? And it's got
some guy from the Sabres, but
there's that Tabs 24/7 Instagram or 25. He does all that stuff, finding like what game the back picture from a card was. So this would be right up his alley.
Guy could be in the bad hockey mouth, like Mount Rushmore.
Oh,
that's a pretty bad one.
That's a bad one.
Yeah, so you're right. In the back of the card, he's listed at 6 feet tall, 175 pounds. So there's something weird with the photo. Anyways, you got Hasek in the old school like cage helmet, Blackhawks uniform where he started his career. It is an error card too. His first name is misspelled on the card. They spelled Dominic with a C instead of a K.
Yeah, it happens.
So, and then it's another junk wax era PSA 10 pop count try. You want to guess again on the pop? 3 million, 4 million, 7 million. What do you think?
No, I'm gonna 150.
132.
Oh, hey, I'm pretty close there.
Mm-hmm. Now there was
like I'm a genius. What? Yeah.
You are a genius.
That was a stupid luck.
So this is score American. Now there's score Canadian as well. Instead of like the red logo, blue logo, they did border color. So score American, the border color is purple, and then the score Canadian has a blue border.
Okay.
Now the PSA 10 pop count for the score Canadian is quite a bit smaller at 43. But yeah, I mean, whether it's 43 or 132, both pretty low pop counts, especially for a player like Hasek and his rookie card. Of course, he's a 6-time Vezina Trophy winner, 2 times Hart Memorial Trophy winner, Troy. He also has 2 more Stanley Cups than Connor McDavid.
Shots fired!
Last sale for a 1991 score American Dominic Hasek rookie PSA 10, $70 US this past April. All-time high 111 from a month earlier in March. You got a current bid?
$7 US.
Is there a point like in your life where you think that for these great, amazing, legendary players who have these weird era rookie cards, like, did you see yourself like picking up a card like this?
Probably not. I just don't have any interest.
Yeah,
it's not fun. Well, it's funny. I don't know if I read this or I was watching a YouTube video. It was recently where I don't know if they hypothesized or they actually did research on it, that they think there's still more unopened score like 1990 hockey in warehouses than was actually opened.
Really? Where would that be though?
That's probably the guy in Ultimate Collectibles warehouses that we hear about, and how he hoarded it all.
Yeah. All right, we're going to switch over to modern. So the first card I picked is the 2020-21 Clear Cut AM34 Austin Matthews UD Canvas Blue Ink Auto out of 25. It's kind of funny. So the Clear Cut set came up as a topic of conversation last week doing the PWCC Hockey Watch Party show with Jeremy Lee, the Oracle, as we like to call him. And he asked me if I like clear cut. And my response to him was, not really. But I do really like the canvas, blue ink, and red ink autos. So then this card shows up in the auction. I'm like, okay, Kismet, right? Got to pick it. Now, it's too bad it's not a super show because Phil's not here to, of course, drool over his favorite Maple Leaf, Austin Matthews. But for my taste, Troy, there's a lot to love about this card. First, it's a very nice, clean mustache. If you want to zoom in really quick on the mustache, very, very
your clean mustache.
Look at that.
Oh, that's trim nice.
That is a sexy mustache right there in Austin Matthews. Love it. And there's something I think most people don't know too. So the M, Troy, in AM34 actually stands for mustache. It's Austin Mustache 34. That is the proper pronunciation of the name. I know we don't pronounce a lot of names here correctly, but that is, in fact, how you do it. I also really like the photo Upper Deck chose. Doesn't it look like he's picking out a puppy? Like, ooh, I want that one.
Yeah, I want that one. Or I'm better than you.
It's different. Now, I mentioned there's 2 sets of canvas auto cards in 2020-21 clear cut. There's red ink autos, which are out of the player's number, and then there's blue ink autos, which are
25,
all out of 25. Most of them also have a gold 101 parallel, and it's a pretty big checklist with 77 players on it too. So the weird thing, like, as you're balancing sort of the what's better, red ink or blue ink, in the case of Austin Matthews, the blue ink is actually more rare because the red ink would be out of 34. Now, if it's Cale Makar, right, the red ink is going to be
8.
rarer in that case. And then, of course, Austin Matthews is coming off his best regular season to date. 69 goals, 38 assists for 107 points in 81 games played. Set career highs, Troy, for both goals and assists. Also tied with Connor McDavid for Stanley Cups this year.
Oh, jeez.
Fired!
Oh, brutal.
Do you like these canvas cards and these autos?
Love them. Yep.
Yeah.
I absolutely love them. Like, I've bought. Why do I keep saying bought? I bought like 3 or 4 Pecorenes that I found.
Then you pulled the Zetterberg.
Yeah.
You sold it for box cost.
I'll
never
200.
forget that.
Yep, 200.
Which I don't think I've ever pulled a card worth more than $3.
No, you stop it. You pulled that McDavid auto.
No, I'm saying clear cut.
Oh, I was saying clear cut. Okay, I thought you meant like all time.
The worst luck ever with clear cut.
Clear cuts. Boy, that's a risky one. One and done.
Last sale of a 2020-21 UD clear cut AM34 canvas blue ink auto to 25 was $475 back in April. All-time high 537 from January 2023. You got a current bid?
$145. And also, I've just thought of this one. Or I didn't think of it. I thought about this a while ago, and I never brought it up. With those one and done products, do you think it'd be cool if Upper Deck did something like Topps does with what is it? Topps Archives, or it's a one card thing, but you can get either the box that's Legends or the box that's current players. So, and I can't remember.
I like that.
Archives might not be the right one, but it's a one card thing. I always thought that'd be an interesting idea to do. Like, do I want to take the risk on the legend or do a current player? For my one and done. But I guess Clear Cut kind of has that. Just it's all combined. But.
It's weird though. I keep checking my phone and there's no missed calls from Upper Deck. So apparently they don't want our advice, Troy.
Don't want our advice. All right, here we go. So
your
I got
card.
the next one, and listen, I failed miserably. Got busy, but we're gonna still look at it. So I didn't do that much research, but hey. It's a North Star player, so we're going to look at him real quick. 1990 Bowman Tiffany, Mike Modano rookie. It's a PSA 8, and so if you aren't familiar with 1990s hockey, the junk wax era, right? So I remember I was trying to do a little bit of research, and I think 1990 is when a bunch of new players came in, like Upper Deck came in, Bowman came in, and some others came in, but this is... So Bowman made the regular set. They had a regular set of hockeys, but then they also made the high end, right? The Tiffany set. And you can tell Tiffany's because they have a glossy front, but I think the big tell is in the back where they're almost pure white, like they're white-ish, and it's a lot more premium stock. So that's one way to know. And then these Tiffany cards only came in factory sets. And I believe there was 3,000 factory sets. And where I find these interesting is, okay, everything's junk wax, right? 90s junk wax. Well, we know there's 3,000 of these out there cards. So that at least it's got like a pop on it that you can,
well, there's the pedigree to baseball too. Like the Barry Bonds 87 Tiffany, I know is worth a lot of money. There's a Bo Jackson Tiffany, I think from 86 or something like that too, right? Yeah.
And I also think that I'm probably overselling that a little bit. I don't think these go for a ton of money unless they are 10s, PSA 10s. Sure. Then they can get a little bit into the crazy numbers, 4 figures maybe. But again, to me, being a North Stars fan, this is a great card because it's got young Mike Modano with the poofy hair. Actually, it's a PSA 8, but the centering looks pretty good to me. Maybe it's off somewhere, but again, the design is completely boring, forgettable. Like this design is just something. It's bad. But the card itself looks really, really nice, especially I think for a PSA 8. I don't know what. I just maybe see it down here. Is that the ice? There might be something right here at the bottom left. I don't know if that's.
I think that's in the photo.
Do you think that's in the photo? But again, I think it looks actually like I think it looks like a great card.
I like the black breezers in that North Stars uniform
stars.
With the stars on the side. Yeah,
and the Furland hockey, boy, you'll see that's. I mean, I don't think they're around anymore, but maybe they are. But just a great looking card. And Bowman Tiffany is an interesting set, and you know the pop count. So maybe this is an alternative if you want. You don't want to buy the regular one because it's the junk wax era. So you can look at this one. But again, this won't go for major money. We're a show for the common man, right? We're the common people. So current bid on this one, $10 US. I looked up some past sales and they were nothing crazy. So this will be pretty affordable.
The Tiffany thing is cool though, because that's a way to make as a collector the junk wax era interesting. So now I didn't know until this that I knew the baseball stuff, but now I'm intrigued. Yep. So thank you for doing this because you just cost me money. Because I'm gonna go and I would love like a 9 or 10 of this Madonna. That would be maybe even 8. I mean, this is a nice 8.
Producer Louis might have. I wonder if Producer Louis has one of these sitting around.
He's gonna get mad anytime it's Madonna and it's not his.
He gets mad.
Producer Louis seems to think that there's only like one Madonna card in the world, and it's not his, that you're taking it from him. And we try to explain that there's like thousands of these, so we can all have one. Okay, the last card, Troy, is getting back to the whole like McDavid sort of celebration that wasn't, because the buzzkill of them losing, and I mentioned that a lot of very rare, very big McDavid rookies are seeing the light of the day for the first time. There's one in the PWCC, and it's this 2015-16 OPG Platinum Connor McDavid Marquee Rookie Emerald Surge out of 10. It's raw, but NBA authenticated.
Do you have one of these, like the base?
No, I don't have one of these.
I thought you did. I thought you had
I have
not the Emerald Surge. I'm just saying the OPG Platinum McDavid.
I have the OPG update foil.
Okay. That's
not the Platinum. Not the Platinum.
Gotcha.
And I have that in a PSA 10. But you got to assume that whoever has this card listed it again, with them assuming that they were going to win. So probably a little bit of a buzzkill for them there. That being said, though, amazing card, and it looks in great shape. Like it looks pretty centered for OPG Platinum.
Yes.
Corners look good. One of the things that makes PWCC awesome in cases like this, like if you're a serious player for this card, and it's a little scary that it's raw, right? But number one, they take amazing high quality photos. And then with the whole NBA authentication program, they also do the heat map thing. So that points out areas of the card, and there's nothing on the front, but then on the back, they pointed to potentially there being a little bit of a flaw or issue or defect in the lower right corner. So it doesn't give you any detail. It just kind of helps you focus where you should really spend a lot of time scrutinizing the card. And like they said, the lower right. But then when you look at the regular card, I feel like that's just a string.
Yeah, it looks like a piece of cardboard.
Yeah, this card looks like
that can be ripped off. Yeah,
super nice. And this will be the first Emerald Surge out of 10 that has sold.
It
It is also, and if you think that's impressive, the back centering's quite a bit off.
sorry.
But,
Oops, not that. This. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Who cares about the back?
who cares about the back? Well, it can be like 90-10 for PSA 10, I think, on the back.
Oh, really?
And it's like, so yeah, something like that. But okay, so I got to reiterate because I kind of distracted us from a very important point here. It's the first time an Emerald Surge will sell. It's also the lowest serial number at OPG Platinum McDavid rookie to publicly go up for sale.
Ah, interesting. Sleuthing.
So the top sale to date for any McDavid OPG Platinum card was the Seismic Gold Auto out of 25, PSA 9, that Auto 10 that sold for exactly $24,000 just about a year ago.
Okay.
Now, again, I don't want to keep like going back to the well on this one, Troy, but like if you had to put like put it in terms of a percentage. So if this card goes for X now, had they won Monday night, what do you think?
My first thought was 15%.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. That's probably, I think that's a good guess. I would have maybe gone a little richer, like 20-25%, but
see, I went with like a lot of that we're hearing is like a lot of people think these prices are the cup is already baked in. So I was maybe 15%, but who knows? Ain't baked in anymore.
No. And I would argue for a card like, if we're talking young guns, yes, I think there's going to be a lot of variability.
Yeah.
It's going to kind of be pinkish, but the fact that we're looking at this card right now, that it's available for sale, is crazy. So if you're a McDavid person, it shouldn't matter as much, I guess, if that they lost on Monday. We may not ever see one of these again.
Yeah.
So if you're a Platinum fan, you love the Emerald Surge, you want the, other than the Golden Treasure, this is probably the lowest serial numbered or one of them. Huge opportunity. What's the current bid?
$1,525 US.
Do you think this goes for more than 10? Should.
Oh, really?
I don't.
I didn't know. I had no idea what this would go for.
Well, remember now
only
it's
10.
Auto, but
10 in the first one.
Seismic Gold 25 Auto went for $24,000.
Okay. Yeah.
A year ago. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly think if I was like a serious, and to me this is a $15,000 to $20,000 card.
Wow.
I really believe that. Yeah, we'll have to see though.
Guess what? You can find out what it goes for. You can watch Josh and Jeremy on Sunday.
Oh yeah, sweet.
I'll do that. I should do an ad read at some point.
Okay, so but I might have cut you off, or I don't remember. What were you really going to guess? You just said no.
You said 10, and I said what? I was like, no. I thought like I was thinking like 7,000, but
okay. So you
made me
think
feel dumb.
7. I'm 20 to 25, so we'll see who's closer. All right, to bid on these cards and all the other cool hockey cards in the current PWCC Weekly auction, head to pwccmarketplace.com. All right, buddy, you got anything for personal pickups this week?
I don't, except boxes of stuff because I'm opening a hobby shop, I guess. So I have lots of boxes. I have Josh's extended boxes. I found some awesome deals on non-hockey cards, entertainment related. I kind of
You've gotten crazy.
I kind of hinted at it earlier, saying what can be boring if you rip a lot of it, and of course, we're going to buy a lot of it. But it's getting to the point where they're just trying to give these away now. So I bought a bunch for really cheap. Marvel cards, sorry. They're Marvel cards.
I got 2 cards. I'm kind of excited about both. So the first one's a 1995-96 Select Certified Pavel Bure Mirror Gold, not like super crazy.
No, this is cool. Is this one? I first started thinking, is this the box you bought? You didn't open it, but is this?
No.
What year box of Select did you get?
94.
94. Okay, I was gonna laugh if you pulled one right after you bought this one. Won't know.
You know what I like about this card? It has the peel on it, but it doesn't say peel 4,000 times over it. It just says it over his glove.
Yeah, you're Rise Up Peel gang, where I don't like the peel.
I'm sort of indifferent. I just don't like it over their face and distracting from the card. Then, Troy, I actually did something that I'm kind of proud of myself for.
Oh.
So I got all whipped up into the extended hysteria today. And I know that you had sent me on a mission to get a box for the show and then a box for you too. And as I'm thinking, it's like, well, maybe I'll use my own funds to get an extra box of extended and have 2 boxes to open because that's fun, right?
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking, I'm like, dude, just if you want to get something, just buy a card.
Yeah.
And so I went on and I started looking and I found this a 2012-13 Panini Pavel Datsyuk Red Prism out of 50 raw for the same amount of money as a extended series hobby box. So it's a card I'm really going to enjoy.
Looks in good shape too.
Yeah, it appears to be off-centered at the top.
Yeah.
But every copy I found has the same.
They're all going to be.
So I think that's just the way that they were produced, from what I can tell. It looks in pretty good shape, and yeah, so I'm pretty excited about it. And I'm trying to balance my love that we both share for like opening boxes and actually having good cards.
Did you notice who they're
Because
playing?
none of my boxes work out.
Did you notice who they're playing?
Who's playing what?
Who the Red Wings are playing in this card?
No, the Wild.
It's the Wild. Right there.
Sweet.
Little hidden gem.
Hidden gem. Easter egg.
The ref has a Red Wings head, so that's kind of funny too.
Yeah.
Right.
I got a Beret and a Datsyuk. I'm into Russians, I guess, lately. I don't know.
Speak for yourself. Okay, we gotta go. It's like 2.5 hours. Or 2 hours 16.
Yeah, it's the middle of the night. It's already tomorrow. So, and we gotta still post the show, and I gotta get up at 5 a.m.
New internet speed. This is where the new internet speed helps me.
Yeah, good for you. We'll be back Monday with Super Show. But if you like the episode, please leave a rating, review on Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, you want to support us, want to chat with us on the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server, please consider a $5 a month donation. Join our $1.99 support level tier on Patreon. Link is in the show description, whether you're on podcast app or YouTube, in our Instagram, TikTok profile. You can get there on our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, or go to Patreon's website, patreon.com, and just search for Hockey Cards Gong Show. Hey, follow us on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, and Troy. The Hockey Cards Gong Show podcast is a production of Dogbox Ventures, LLC. Have an awesome weekend. We will see you all on Monday.